Happy Friday, everybody. Good morning. I think it's sunshine. It's supposed to rain later. I don't know. All I know is I'm here with Bobby, and that's the best morning you can have.
You are my sunshine, Pat. Regardless of
Am
if
I
the stars
your
are.
only one?
Nope, I got several,
Oh,
but
God damn it. What are we, Tatooine? Is it
yeah,
Tatooine?
where Superman's from?
Oh, Krypton,
Krypton.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We should have
amazing.
both known that. It's like
Yeah. The thing he's allergic to is the name of his planet. Seems kind of ill-sighted in the long run.
What was the I don't know if they ever broke down a real doctor's thing. Comics got nerdier later, so I'm sure they did at one point, but it must be because of on his planet he can be next to kryptonite or parts of Krypton, but when he got exposed to this atmosphere, maybe that soil or whatever was in it was he changed because he's powerful here. He wasn't really powerful there. Maybe I fucked
Y-
up.
You
Yeah,
know,
V, what's up? Oh, we always do a Friday show, buddy. We just don't do a Thursday show. Always.
I would say I don't think Superman was actually I don't think kryptonite was his actual weakness. I think it was all in his head. Like Bob Marley used to say, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Like I think Superman was a prisoner of his own mind because he was faster
Yeah,
than a
but
speeding bullet. So when he made up the illness, it made him allergic to it in reality. Like his cells were working on a different level.
that would work to me if when he knew, but sometimes he wouldn't know, and also like, and they're like, yeah, we lined this whole house with kryptonite. Those poor workers who had to show up early and like be evil. like, what do you got to do? I got
Yeah.
these evil schemes. I'll be back later.
No, not us, man. We do every day, V. Except for Thursdays, and we do Thursday thoughts over on the Patreon, which would be a good place to subscribe.
Which, by the way, yesterday's is one of my favorite ones we've done so far. We broke down the LGBTQIA plus. We Bobby and I kind of like trying to figure out with each other if we knew what all those letters meant, and then we made our own letters and we added that to it. So if we get over to the Patreon, check that out. It's about an hour long one. It's a fun one. But yeah, I think you guys will both enjoy. What I hear is Bobby's edition wouldn't be able to be on X.
Yeah, no.
If
Apparently, it's a
anyone's
mean
noticed,
word.
if anyone's noticed that on X that our POS mornings thing isn't interacting or sharing anything, well, we got taken down or suspended. But I guess it was. I thought it was someone going after us, but Bobby had seen some other people say that they did a nice sweep of the word retard, and they're like, nope, nope. If you write the word or even like kind of it, and like a redacted, a retarded redacted, a redactard, if you, which is the
Yeah.
worst dinosaur of all time. But they shut it down, so it's not there right now because we said retard a whole bunch. But wait till they see our clip coming out soon.
Yeah, eventually.
But
Oh, man.
how was your yesterday, sir? Your evening,
You,
all that
you
things.
know, I'm really glad you brought up that Patreon episode because somebody close to me in my life, I don't want to give any specific details, but somebody close to me in my life watched that episode and then felt it was time for an intervention with me. And they called me, and like they've done this a number of times where they're like, you need to do more with your life than be a comedian. But the approach they took yesterday was, how are you making the world a better place? And I was like, well, like we make 14 people laugh every day.
Yeah,
That's
sometimes
kind of a big
15.
thing. And they were like, do you really think that's a big impact? And then I kind of pointed out this guy's job was being there when patients died, like
That's so
easing them into
impactful.
death. And I kind of pointed out that like the 14 people we help probably will feel that help longer than 2 weeks. Like, I also
Right.
don't think this person impacts 14 people a day. I think that's pretty impressive. So, who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it me for telling my dad that his job of killing people doesn't really matter? Is it my
Your
dad
dad. Holy
for
shit!
not
I didn't know it was
accepting
your
for
dad.
not accepting that this is what I do for a living and just moving the fuck on? Or is
I'm
it
sorry.
those
That I hate that joke when comedians do it. But that real life thing, that way you did that, that was when they're usually like, "This guy keeps showing me porn." I'm like, "Dad, stop showing me porn." I fucking want to stab people. You doing it? That was tremendous.
uh I just me personally, or is it the kids with cancer? If you didn't die, then he wouldn't have a job and wouldn't feel all high and mighty to tell other people what to do.
It's your dad. Fuck him. What do you know? First of all, how did he see the episode? Because he doesn't subscribe to our Patreon. What's he stealing it?
I think I just told him about it.
Oh, okay. I was like, your dad, at least cough up $3 if you're going to be a dick to your son.
No, we don't need that. He wasn't even being a dick. He was trying to be helpful.
No,
It was just like, I was in a bad mood and was like, oh, we're playing this game? Because I helped 14. I've heard about your rounds. 8's a crazy day.
I think we have to address something in the chat already. Now, first of all, good morning, Harry Zoe. It's been a little while since we've seen you, man. Kevin G always in the house. We got Kish. We got everybody. All the stars. V.
Harry Zoe.
Everybody here's here. Kevin has a great point, and I like this. He's like, this is why I'm curious to see what happens after you guys get monetized. Then you have to fill out checklists. I want to see how you guys get through it. I've had people say that to me too. They're like, are you guys sure you guys really want to get monetized? I'm like, and I forget. Like, people are like, I'm like, what do you mean? We're not like that bad. They're like, yeah, you are. I'm like, no, we're not. We're pretty clean. They're like, you're not clean. I guess I forget. We just joke around, but like, I think the guys who do watch this, we appreciate like that we are a morning show that makes a lot of fun of things and we don't pull back, but at the same time, yeah, I guess we say things that are, I guess that not safe for work sticker would work for us.
Right. I think the NSFW, and we're good to go. Also, we might have to come up with some cool terms to get around the things we love to say. You know?
Like what? Like retard?
You should just call them retired.
What about what's that word you like? The C word.
I hope that's allowed. I hope men still run YouTube.
Men don't run YouTube. No, Kevin, I know what you mean. I know you're not saying it's bad at all. I know what you meant. I meant it's bad for us if we get monetized.
yeah.
No, we know that you are. We appreciate all you guys for that. I mean, we're just having fun. That's it. I mean, we're not trying to be edgy. We're just, believe me, a lot of people just think this is a bad show. Not even like the content. They're just like, that's just a bad show. Like all the people who got mad when we tricked them into thinking we were doing a Shane Gillis breakdown show, where they're like, oh, you're just going to talk about Shane Gillis and tires? I need to know more information on a show written by a 7-year-old. And they're like, no, wait, this wasn't about that the whole time? This is the worst show I've ever seen in my life. I'm let down. I'm disappointed. Man, I can't wait till your deathbed when you have to still admit you're still a virgin, you fucking loser. That'll be a real disappointment, you stupid non-pussy getting piece of shit. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday.
You know what? That opens a fun question, and I know we're not like a normal show, but is it better to die a virgin, or let's say you like fucked one, just you don't want to write home about it, you know? No. And if you die, like just a piece of work. I'm trying to think of a good.
First of all, I'm
Amy
trying to think
Schumer today.
What? What about her? Like, you banged her?
Like super fat, hairy, hasn't shaved, stinky pussy.
Wait, do we know all those things? Is that alleged?
I don't know if we know all those things, but one of us does.
Hairy and stinky?
Yep. That's. I'm not saying.
How do you know about the stinky puss?
It's just, I got my sources on Twitter.
No, you don't, Kish. You keep that. You're grandfathered in, my friend. You don't raise shit.
No, yeah.
$2. Yeah, don't you fucking dare give us. We haven't earned that dollar. You stayed through us when we were putting shit on that Patreon. You fucking dare do anything, my friend.
No, you're good, Kish.
We appreciate you just for who you are. Even if you couldn't do the Patreon, we don't give a shit, man. Like you're fucking. I'm not gonna lie. This is the gayest thing we're gonna say all day, but there's nothing better than when Bobby and I get ready to start the show. We both look over and go, "Oh, Kish said good morning." And we both write good morning, dude. I fucking love that, bro. Like you're the best.
1000%, no jokes. When I was arguing with my dad, Kish, you were one of the first people I brought up. I was like, I think he makes my life better, and I make his life better. It's a mutual.
And then he goes, "Then let him go be your fucking dad." He's like, I will let him be my dad.
He'll be glad I talk back.
But yeah, get on over to the Patreon, check that one out if you can. It's about an hour long and we break down. It's one that when we were done, I almost thought, oh, I'll tell Bobby that this will be the one I put up. I think I'll put it up for free on YouTube, and that way people will know what the show's about, Thursday Thoughts. And then I was like, we're just gonna get it taken down. Like,
Yeah,
what am I doing?
yeah.
The whole purpose of doing it over there is because we can't do it here. But it was 8 hour long breakdown of us breaking down every letter of the flag, including the plus thing. And we learned what the plus thing means. We learned what the I is. We kind of knew what the A was. We both made our own, which are fun. So it was a good time.
I would highly recommend that episode.
But and just for people looking for that, I fucked around with the playlist on YouTube, so it's easier. It's harder. You can't really watch it unless you get the link. But if any of you guys want to watch the Thursday Thoughts playlist and check out the shows, if you're a viewer right now and you watch this show, hit me up and I will send you the link to that so you can see it. You know what I mean? So you can check it out. That way, if you want to join, you can check it out. So any of those guys who can't make it, let me know, and I'll send you a link to the latest episode. I'll DM you, and then you can watch it that way on your own, and that way you don't have to pay for it to check it out first. That's all. Do you have feed you can edit, like horse feed?
I think he meant like an edited feed. So like we do it live, we say all the wild shit, and then we go back and censor out all the tards.
We don't do that stuff.
No, it turns out editing.
Bobby and I are live performers. We like this. Even when I do radio, we have to record everything now. So when I'm on like on a Monday through Friday, I go in on a Sunday and I record the first 2 days, and I go in on a Wednesday and record the next couple of days. And I appreciate the radio job; it's all great. I don't feel like a radio guy. You know what I mean? I really don't. I'm like, people were like, I'll talk. I was at shows and people were like, how are you here right now and on the radio? And I'm like, record it. And to watch people's faces drop, like, I think just everyone knows that now, but everyone's like, wait a minute, radio's not live? And I'm like, well, no. I mean, the morning shows are sometimes. Like, especially if you hear anybody in the evening, no one's ever live anymore. It's cost effective for them. You don't get paid for the hours you're on the air. You get paid for the hours that you recorded. So it's half the time. And you can't milk it or anything. They know, it's not, you wouldn't even want to milk it. It's just, you're just recording your breaks. So if that's fun and all, but when I'm on stage and I get to be live and say whatever I want, it's great. And the audience likes it because I like in the moment stuff. And I like this that we don't. Bobby and I have talked about that, editing things out more and putting them out. But when we got a chance to go live and start live streaming, we jumped at this because it's just more fun to do this.
Absolutely. And the element I'm sure that you miss from radio that we get here is that we get to see everybody in the chat.
Yeah, that's what, if we were doing it live and we didn't have a good chat group like we have. Yeah, you're right. And that's the other thing too, is easy. And that's because that'd be all Bobby. It would take forever to edit a 2-hour show. You have to watch and pay attention to the whole thing. Yeah, and Bobby and I don't even remember what we talked about. At the end, we're like, what do you want to do a clip of? Like, I don't know. Didn't we yell something crazy about fat ladies earlier? And then we have to go back and figure out when we yelled fat ladies.
You mean, is that an option? Can we just start a fat ladies podcast?
I'm sure there's a lot of them. But the problem is, there's those podcasts. The fat ladies are the hosts.
Oprah Winfrey, Amy Schumer, Precious.
Yeah. What's her
Adele
name?
when she could
Lizzo.
Oh, how did I forget Lizzo? Fuck.
She's the 9/11 of fat people. You can't forget her.
Oh God. But it seems like a lot of people have forgotten 9/11. Just throwing that out there.
I brought that up on stage the other day. I said, anyone remember 9/11? And then like someone chuckled. The leg guy goes, I can never forget. I'm like, you're the one.
Honey,
there was a young girl in the audience.
Kevin?
There was a young girl in the audience, and she was like, Honey Boo Boo, yeah. But she's now older. She's not as fat, but she's annoying as shit.
That's a state of mind.
It is. And that state is Wisconsin because they are fat there. That is a fat state. I brought up 9/11 and something, and I said to this younger girl, I said, were you even alive during 9/11? And she goes, of course I was alive during 9/11. How dare you? She got all pissed off. I go, okay, well, how old were you? She's like, 1. I go fuck yourself. I wish you were a baby in the building. She laughed a little bit. I mean, it wasn't open mic. It really wasn't the audience. They were just trying to have a Japanese appetizers. And then I was like, oh, you like this one? Oh, hero.
Have you seen the clip going around? Why was 6 afraid of 7?
Because 7, 8, 9?
Right. Why was 10 afraid of? Why was 10 afraid?
Why was 10 afraid? 9/11?
Because it was stuck in the middle of 9/11.
Oh, no. That's fun. I like kid math.
I thought that was a good joke.
It is a good time. All right.
Who was the comedian who did that joke where he was like, "Do you think there was a baby crying on the plane?" Somebody was like, "God, I wish somebody would just fly this
Oh,
into a tower to shut
I
that
haven't
thing
heard
down."
that. I like that.
That's how you were with that girl. I wish you were crying. And
Yeah. Like, why would you brag? I'm a law. I get it. I guess she thought I was calling her like a child. I wasn't. I was just saying you look like you're not old enough to remember 9/11.
you realize you could be 23 and not have lived through
Yeah, that's what I'm
9/11,
saying.
right, ma'am? That's the prime of women's lives. Now, I'm a man, which means I'm just going to keep getting better till the end of time. You're a woman, which means you've peaked.
Jesus. Like my daughter, my oldest child, my ex-wife was pregnant with her during 9/11. So it's like she wasn't alive yet. And she's 22 years old. I mean, like,
There's
my
nothing
son
wrong
laughs
with
all
that.
the time. My son laughs all the time. He said one time, he's like, he goes, it is kind of crazy to know that you guys are all mad because like buildings fell. And from someone who wasn't alive. And that's like when people talk about like Pearl Harbor, I'm like, who gives a shit? Oh, you dropped the bombs in the water. Like it wasn't devastating to me. It's silly because it's back then. I'm not saying it's not, but it's just like buildings collapse all the time.
Yes, buildings collapse all the time. However, a group of goat fuckers don't hijack airplanes and fly it into them.
No, maybe that didn't happen, but like there's definitely people that the mafia blows up buildings all the time and blames someone else.
Yeah, but they're Italian, so we allow it. They haven't fucked any
Okay,
goats.
my bad. Oh, they definitely in some parts. It's how you make the best cheese. You fucking the goat and then you let it sit.
Oh God, I don't want that cheese. Is that what goat cheese is?
From under cheese.
From underwear? No.
From under your balls. Hey, you're right into the joke. Oh man, you got. Oh, you're kicking this one off, right? Yeah, you did the Friday Bobby kickoff story.
Hell yeah. Pet, have you ever considered going to South Korea?
No,
Well, you would be allowed at the gyms, but certain other people are no longer allowed there.
Brax.
What?
Brax.
Brax?
That's how they say it. Oh, no, Brax.
It took me a second. I thought that was a new type of person.
No Brax. Get out of here.
I mean, the headline does seem like it would be describing that when it says only, quote, elegant women allowed at South Korea gym.
Ooh.
It draws flack. A gym in South Korea has banned misbehaving, quote, aunties, reigniting a debate about discrimination against older women in the country. The gym near the capital of Seoul put up a sign that read, off limits to ajumas, which is aunts, like old ladies, is what it means in Korean.
I thought it was Jewish mothers.
Ajuma.
Put on your shawl.
Put on your shawl. Oh, look, honey, it's a Juma. Watch out, she'll steal your gold.
Their teeth are extra sharp.
So a Juma is a catch-all term for older women, typically late 30s onward, but is also pejorative for behavior that is seen as rude or obnoxious. Some aunties would spend an hour or two in the changing room to do their laundry, steal items including towels, soaps, or hair dryers, said the owner of the gym. They would sit in a row and comment and judge other people's bodies, he said, adding that some younger women quit the gym because of these comments, which upset them or made them uncomfortable. While the move was made by a single gym, it seems to have struck a nerve because in recent years, South Korean businesses have drawn flack for banning children's or seniors from certain public places. Some of this has been seen as proof of growing intolerance for specific age groups. Who is the piece of the shit in this story, Pat? Is it the gym owner? You can ban specific people, right? Like, but just going anyone who fits this age group is not allowed in leads to a slippery slope. Pun intended.
Which is what South Koreans call their ski team.
They don't know slow boats.
They don't know slope.
But is it the aunties? I mean, you can't just go to the gym and do laundry. Like, my favorite part was their South Korea has talent style judging panel where they would all sit and as the women came into the room, they would make fun of their bodies. That's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine the fight you would get into if you tried to do that at a men's gym? Is it me? Because why do I care about what's going on in South Korea? Who's the piece of shit in this story?
Wait, why? What was that? Are you okay? Well, why are you? You have to care. That's your job on this show.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but just it's not like I'm affected by this story, even if it was happening in America. I'm not an
No, I think, Bobby, that subconsciously your brain went to this because this does speak to you. Because yes, this would be terrible and wrong. You're like, you can't just do that. You said in America. This isn't America. This is South Korea. They don't have the same rules that we have, the fake freedoms, all those kind of things, where they say it's the democracy lets anyone do anything all the time, even though we don't let people do it all the time. So, yeah, in South Korea, they might be allowed to just say, I don't want this group of people being there anymore. We don't know how that works. I mean, they pretty much segregate. Korea is pretty segregated. There's north and there's south, and you don't go from one to the other. That's kind of how they roll and do things. And Bobby, I think you would like to live in a land where they don't let fatties and grossies and stuff like that go places. So yeah, this story draws right to you. You're like, that sounds a good vacation place. When I retire, I want to go to South Korea, and they'll let me in there.
They will. They would like you. I would like to add one third piece of shit. Since I'm no longer allowed to be, my self-consciousness and it's apparently a piece of shit. It's the society of South Korea that's getting mad that this gym banned women who it considers aunties. Should women just accept the fact that when you hit your late 30s, you've done it?
I don't remember exactly how well. Most Asian women are like black men, where it's like it takes a long time to show the age. And then all of a sudden, when they're old, they're old. You know what I mean? Like 70 years old. And for both, they both just look like Morgan Freeman, both the South Korean women and the black men. But they go real young and nice until then. So I'm not really sure how that works. But listen, if the guy owns a gym, it's his business. He can let anyone he wants. Listen, how many bars in America don't let people who wear colors from a biker gang in because they don't want that in there? Now, it's not a rule or a law. They just say, we don't want this here. It's going to make people uncomfortable. People are going to get scared. Same thing with disgusting women. It makes people uncomfortable, and they get scared. And they're trying to eat and stuff, and they're trying to hang out. You don't want them there at all. They're fucking gross. It's fine. It's not an issue. South Korea, their number one export right now is boy and girl band pop music. They have insane, also movies too, but all kinds of entertainment. And they are really... I watched the show recently. I think it's like 100 or something like that, or whatever it was called. And it's a fitness show where it's 100 of the fittest people from South Korea there is. It's like weightlifters and athletes and all this kind of stuff. And they battle in these endurance things. The shape that South Korean people are in right now to try to be the best looking on TV and in music and all, it's insane. Their work regimen and stuff like that. And their vanity is nuts. So this makes sense because the younger people are like, listen, old people, we're tired already thinking that we look like melted poodles on the back of a fat guy's neck. We don't want to look like that shit anymore. We always look like some wise fucking Yoda fucking thing. We got to look good. So fuck you. You're not going to come in our place. We want you out of here. Everyone, when you think of South Korean women right now, you think of like light skin, but very smooth and very pretty and attractive. Even the men, like these like boy band looking fucking handsome men. You don't need that shit. So this guy's like, yeah, step up with the times, motherfuckers. It's the same way that there's always one bar that lets somebody smoke cigarettes. And you're like, you're not supposed to, but in the back room, they're like, no one pays attention, it's fine. But then when someone comes in and vapes, they're like, get the fuck out of here, you homo. We're not letting that happen. Like, you're letting it happen. Like, we're not letting the gay way of it happen. We'd rather get cancer like a straight guy than like a fruit. We're not doing that at all. Yeah. Now, it shouldn't be doing one thing. You shouldn't be having any kind of way of telling people they can't smoke at all. But now you're deciding to do what you want because it's your prerogative. It's your place. You're footing the bill. Fuck it. The piece of shit is anybody who wants to go there that tests that limit. It's like when you try to go to a nightclub at night and you're not hot and you're not famous and you get in line, you're dressed in your sweatpants and shit like some guy. Like, why won't you let me in? It's not for you, bro. It's just not for you. That gym's not for you, aunties. Get the fuck out of here.
It's the opposite of Planet Fitness. They make
Planet Fatness.
No, Planet Fitness is Planet Fatness. This is Planet in shapeness.
Yeah.
Like You know where if you go to Planet Fitness and you lift a little too hard, they're like, you're making people uncomfortable. At this gym, they're
Right.
like, you're not. Now, I think you may have been onto something when you
First of all, it's Planet Fitness dick in your mouth. How about that? Yeah. You're like, there's your saying of the day.
how about Planet Fitting nothing in your mouth, you fatty moo moo.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
throw up.
Diet on these balls.
But I do think you may have been onto something with your translation of a Juma, which is the gym defended itself by pointing to an additional notice that tried to distinguish between ajumas and women. It says that ajumas tend to like free stuff regardless of their age, and that they are stingy with their own money, but not other people's money.
Jeez.
It does sound kind of like you nailed that one, Oates.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Like, this no one else would like our rules. Hitler.
Well, I'm glad you said that. The gym owner said that many other businesses in the area have shared his sentiments but are afraid to speak out. It's not that I tried to make a hate comment against older women or women in general. I think people who are enraged by this notice are, in fact, the ones with the problem, which is the greatest defense ever. If you hate this sign, you're a fat auntie. So for me, the piece of shit would be anybody who's pissed off about this sign. The gym owner makes a hell of a good point. It's a gym. There are certain tiers to everything in life. If you wanted to join a self-defense class, Pat, let's say you get really into the UFC, you decide to become super into jiu-jitsu. Do you go wrestle a black belt the first day?
You shouldn't, but I know a lot of idiots do.
And you get your ass kicked and you're not allowed at that gym in that club. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same idea that you have to work your way up to things. Like, I used to get really mad. I have a guy I went to high school with who would shit on Planet Fitness all the time and be like, it's not a real gym. And it's like, good. Aren't you a super power lifter? Then you don't want the people who would enjoy a Planet Fitness in your way at the gym. Yeah. It's a place for them. If some of those guys fall in love with lifting and eventually start to be like you and develop into a bodybuilder, great. They're going to go to your gym. And if they don't, then it keeps the people who are there just to be like, hey, I went to the gym today out of your way. I had no issue with, we do it across the board. You couldn't take Calc 4 at UConn right now. You would have to take 1, 2, and 3 first. You know what I mean?
I'd have to graduate.
Start with algebra. Work our way up. But you get my point. Like, this is no different. You should be allowed to say, especially if these women are making other women uncomfortable. I tried to explain this to somebody yesterday. Nobody hates a woman more than another woman.
Yeah, they hate each other.
And I would imagine Korean grandmothers could be very, very cruel while you're changing naked. Like, get them out of your gym.
Oh, and okay, here's another point. So in America, right, Bobby? Let's say you go to a convenience store. You're going there to pick up some shit, whatever, and you ask to use the bathroom. And since you're buying an energy drink and all that, the guy's like, yeah, sure, here's the giant key thing. You go in. Another guy walks in and he's just like, hey, do you have a bathroom? And they're like, sorry, for customers only. And that's not a state rule. We all just abide to it. It's not a state rule. It's not a law in any way, shape, or form. They just decide, well, this is how we're going to do it. If you're going to pay for this, fine. If you're not there. Hey, aunties, if you pass to pay double the fee it is to be in that place, they'll let you in.
Yeah,
you want to get around it? You know what stops? Whenever you see a picture of like a yacht, and like there's always like eight hot chicks on the boat in the summertime, and they're all partying, and they turn the camera around. There's always that old joke. Look at the guys who they're with, and it's all old European men in Speedos that are gross, smoking cigars. You're like, whoa, why do they get to be on the boat? Because they bought the boat. Or they donate money to the guy who owns the boat to be on the boat with the hot chicks. So you know what makes people hotter? Money. You want to get in? Fucking cough up some cash. If not, work it the fuck out. Take care of it. Either way, it's going to benefit you. Use it as a motivator, you South Koreans. I almost said a slur, but like, use it as a goddamn motivator. You want to get in somewhere, you work hard. You want to make you're like, don't get excited. You don't get accepted to the cool kids when you're in high school. You're not in a popular group. What do you do all summer? You run, you work out, you watch makeup tutorials or whatever, you're a lady. You figure out all the ways to be the cool trends so you can now the next year be like the cool hot thing. But when you show up, they're like, you're still a loser. We know you. And it doesn't work out because life's not fair. But you should work out for it. So you want to make this place, motivate yourself to get in better shape or look good or work real hard so you get extra money so you can go, how about if I give you this extra yen or ching chong or whatever they call their money there? I don't know. And you give it to them. And then they're like, all right, now you're in.
I like it a lot. I think another way you could go about it is these aunties should start their own gym. Like where literally you walk in, when you scan your card at the gym, they're sitting at the front desk and they just make fun of you, and then you go hit the gym for the day. Like I don't know. I think that would motivate you and I if there was a dude there like, yeah, you got some flabby ass titty, and you're like, all right, let me go bench.
Yeah. Or maybe that starts turning me on. I'm like, can you yell at my tits some more? I didn't realize how much I like this.
This is not a judgment-free zone.
I like this. Can you judge the shit out of me, please, sir? I'm loving it. Dun, 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 dun. That's it. Yes, like, don't go to South Korea for that.
Get out. You can wear a Speedo wherever you want. I would even encourage you to wear one tonight to the Soho Playhouse at 9 p.m.
Oh, no. Is he going to your show?
I'm hoping. I was inviting him.
In a Speedo?
He said, worry not, boys. I'll never show up anywhere in a Speedo. And my point was, if you wanted to show up...
Well, you're also not South Korean.
You don't know that about Kish? What do you think the K stands for?
That might be the one thing I know about Kish.
The K stands for, you crazy? I'm not Korean.
Korean. The K part, and then the ish. He's Korean-ish.
Oh, I love that.
Kind of on the fence about being the Korean. No, he's not the exception, V. No, Kish, you can't wear Speedos. You're out of the group. We're like that place. If you're wearing Speedos, you're fucking out. No banana hammocks, no eye patch on the cock. No, we're not doing that.
Wait, you can put an eye patch on your cock?
That's what it looks like when they fucking wear that Speedo thing. It looks like you're just wearing like an eye patch.
I could see that, yeah.
You can't see it. We can't see anything with that eye patch on. Fucking take it off.
It's for you. Because if you're reading this, you're standing too close. You remember those underwear?
Yeah. No, wait, don't. But I did, and this is an awful admission of my life. I did know a girl with a tattoo that said that.
What did that mean?
No, if you're reading this, you're too close on her thigh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, her dad was definitely not alive.
Yeah, what's she up to these days?
AIDS. By the way, if you guys are looking for, like, when people send each other gifts and stuff, the GIF thing, whatever you pronounce it, you can search like a thing. If you search AIDS, there's like 20 things on there, and there's some fun ones. There's like Rick and Morty one where he's like, AIDS, he just yells that. There's a guy dancing with AIDS. There's some fun AIDS ones you can send people. So someone's like, how's your day? Just send back an AIDS gift.
I haven't explored that enough, I think.
Yeah, there's way more things you can search than you think you can. Some things aren't there, but there's a lot more that they're loose with than you would think.
Kind of like AIDS.
Yes. It's like
you think there's a real limited life ahead of you, but now you can do whatever you want.
No, you can go camping and shit. You can play video games or just be a black guy at the record store. Like, I've seen the commercials. You can just do that.
You're just a black guy who does ballet for some reason.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Before AIDS, that guy was white. Yeah, it's like side effects, black. So go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, how do you want to follow up Auntie?
I want to follow up Auntie with a story about myself. I host an open mic near my house once a month. It's like 5 minutes away, so I do it there. It's at this restaurant. I put the shows on upstairs once a month, but they have a basement bar area. That's a nice little small spot that people come out to. We get like 12 to 13 comics, not really audience. The only audience besides them is like a couple people that come with the comic, like a wife or something like that, or someone wants to walk. Once in a while, so someone pops in and out. But it's basically just a quick open mic. Everybody's doing 5 minutes. We're in there. We're in and out by an hour and a half the most. It's nice. Make a couple bucks. We're in and out. I get to work on some shit. I get all different levels of people trying to come to this mic. Thursdays in Connecticut is a pretty busy open mic night. The popular open mics happen like about 45 minutes away from where I am. So I did this mic on purpose earlier. I do mine at like 7 o'clock with a 6:30 sign up because those guys, the other ones, do theirs like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So you could hit both. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. Connecticut's became what everybody pitched New York was, essentially, where there are all these open mics that you can hit one, the next. There's like actually kind of a scene a little bit. It's what New York was built as. So you setting yours early allows anybody who wants to hit yours and then go hit other ones along the way.
Right, because also I do know that because the other ones are like popular, because a bunch of people do go to them, it's like a hangout spot, that if I did do mine at 8 or 9 o'clock, I might not get people to come to the mic. So I also have had to adapt to what it was. It is harder because there is a lot more travel. Like when you first get into it, everyone's like, you got to drive like 45 minutes to go to every fucking mic or thing. But if you plan it out right, you can go bang around and do stuff if you've got ideas. And you're right. That's what this whole fee. Of course, this show's like that. It's called the POS show. And then I had to write with Bobby Tamburo, so I wasn't a complete egomaniac, right? I get it. It's a piece of shit, but it's Pat Oates' show. That's POS. It's like, yeah, it's an ego show. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, goddamn. Anyway, so we do the sign up like anything else. Anyone can, any of you guys showed up and you never did comedy before. Open mic is literally what it is. Open to anyone. You get 5 minutes. I let you at 4. You do your time. I even, at the beginning of this show, I make a rule. I say, you can say whatever you want. And I mean anything. But I do ask, if you say the N-word, you have to turn around and face the wall when you say that one word and not us. So people can't like make eye contact with you. Then you turn back around. Like no one's done it yet, thank God. But like, making a joke.
This is Thursdays? Second Thursday of every month? Okay, well, I've got some friends I'm going to send your way.
Nice. Come on down. As long as they buy drinks, it's fine. So we're doing the mic, whatever, and there's a guy, he's newer. He's an older guy, but he's newer. He's a nice guy. I'm not trying to shit on this guy at all. And I did post something about it on my Facebook, and I'm not shitting on the guy. It's the situation and stuff like that. But so the guy goes up, and now this is in this room, it's like an older, like Italian like restaurant in the basement. So it's got like little, even though it's one big room, it's got like a bunch of brick little like pillars in like little entranceways. So it almost feels like a hobbit hole, like where you can go in it. So you can't see everything through the room because there are some little blockages of things. So it almost makes it like a little more intimate. So if you're dining, but there's one bigger part at the open mic where we can all just talk and see each other.
Makes sense.
So I was going over it because another comic got there a little later, and I walked over towards the door to have him sign up. So I didn't see what was going on stage. And there's another comic there named Dr. B. He's this cool dude that does like the Frank Bringer shows, older black guy. He's fun. And I hear him go, bang, bang. And I try to go, what's up, Dr. B? He goes, the dude on stage is holding the dildo. And I go, what? And I'm like, what? He goes, this is crazy. So I look over, and Dr. B was right. The guy on stage was holding the dildo. And it wasn't like just a regular dildo. It was one of those ones that looks just like a penis. Like it has it's the white flesh color. It has the helmet head. It has the veins. As Dr. B said on stage later, and he was I think he got his words wrong. He goes, it even had the testicles. I don't know, he had the tentacles on the bottom. Like, not tentacles, Dr. B.
I'm questioning your MD, Dr. B.
He's a love doctor. So, yeah. No, then he should really know balls. But he's also a priest, or not a priest, but a pastor. So anyway, great dude. But anyway, also, like I said, anyone can attend this mic, right? So normally, now I wouldn't be happy with that, but I don't try to be like South Korean places. I try not to establish my rules on stuff and tell people they can't do certain things, whatever. I try to be open-minded with everything. There's certain things I don't like in comedy. Dildo Baggins. Okay, Kevin's in the lead.
Kevin may get the Husey today with that one.
Yeah. That one, or because females aren't funny. He's a 2 for 2. Anyway, so I don't have a problem with it. I mean, as a comic, I have a problem with it. But as a person doing their thing in a mic, what do I care? It's whatever it is. I said I let anyone go there and perform, right, Bobby?
Of course, yeah.
Now, I've also mentioned before on this show that there's a certain comic in this area that I've been helping out a lot. That's a very funny guy who's a 15-year-old boy.
15-year-old boy, yeah.
And he was sitting up front as this man is waving a dildo. And I don't know the law, but I'm pretty sure, like, if you went to a restaurant to go have something to eat and you went to the other room and an old man was waving a dildo at a 15-year-old boy, you might call the police. Or you might at least...
I don't know what law you're breaking, but it feels like you definitely should be breaking one.
Health code violation at the least.
Oh, God, was it a used dildo?
I don't know. I didn't inspect, but I did yell out loud right away, hey, man, put it away. There's a child here, and I'm pretty sure that's illegal. And he goes, oh, okay, whatever. And then he kind of like, his wife was sitting at a table, and he throws the dildo to her. And I'm like, well, you don't need to like launch it. No, Kevin, he wasn't on my lap, you son of a bitch. The kid was just there alone. He was, he said, he's too big for my lap nowadays. Anyway, so he throws the dildo away towards her and then continues his set and whatever. And he was thrown off because I guess he really needed the dildo for this joke. Now, it became a running thing at the mic for the rest of the time. One comic even went up and said, yo, I thought it was crazy that you held that dildo, then you went and ate your food, but you didn't go wash your hands or nothing. Everybody was kind of bringing up the dildo thing over and over again. And when this thing was over, I did kind of say out on stage a couple of times, like, hey, you know, that's not something you really want to do. That's kind of dumb. Afterwards, the comic came up to me, and there's still some people there, and him and his wife, and they weren't being mean, but they were a little bit aggressive in their way of asking. They're like, why would you tell us we can't do that? Why is it okay for everyone to say whatever they want, but we can't do that? And I said, listen, if you want to do comedy, I know you're newer to it, a comedy club's not going to let that fly. And then the lady right away, not involved in comedy at all, she goes, so you're telling me they can just say whatever words they want, but they can't bring out a dildo? That makes no sense. That's ridiculous. And I go, no, because it's spoken word art form. It's comedy. I go, dude, you're a comic. You should be able to describe a dildo and have them know what a dildo is. That's actually better for you because here's the problem. You're distracting them from paying attention to your joke because they're just staring at you holding this bulbous, veiny, disgusting dildo, and they're not listening to the words you say. And I'm trying to give the guy advice, and I'm like, listen, when the show is over, no one remembers your joke. They just know you're the dildo guy. And that's you're going to be. And when you go to another mic, like, here comes the dildo guy. Yeah, and by the way, that got brought up, Kevin. A lot of people, one comic, this guy named Darren Seacrest, who's a fucking nudge and a fucking piece of shit. He's a good guy, but he's a fucking nudge. And he's always just like
Words with Friends.
Yes, ask Dan Brown. And he hates Dan Brown's guitar. Darren's a good guy, but Darren likes to poke holes. Him and another guy were both going, what about Carrot Top? Carrot Top. And when they were all doing that, I was like, all right, guys, if you're going to bring that up, here's the thing. Carrot Top would have done a one quick liner with it. He pulled a million props, and he also writes jokes for each prop. He would have picked it up. He would have said, oh, they should make a dildon't, and then thrown it away or something, and then moved on. It would be like one quick line, and then moved on, and not sit there and hold it and fucking stand there and talking to it. Then the guy's like, well, Pat, it doesn't make sense. With the joke, I'm talking about football, and I'm comparing helmet to helmet. I'm like, yeah, dude, see how you're saying it to me now, but not holding the dildo, and I understand what you're saying? That's what comedy is. And I'm trying to help out. Like, if you want to be a good comic, you need to be able to. Anyone that's listening right now, if you think about your favorite joke by a comic and something you love, if you love Shane Gillis's joke about Donald Trump getting excited when the Abu Dhabi guy got attacked by the dogs and the robot and all that, the beautiful dogs, when you think of that joke, you're not seeing Shane Gillis in your head. You're seeing Trump. You're seeing the dogs and the robot bust through. You have a visual. The best comics tell their jokes in such a way that you see the movie in your head. They speak, but it's like you're not seeing them. That's our job, to make you see something in your brain, so you make your own visual, so you connect to the joke more. But if he's just holding the dildo, you're just seeing the big fat guy hold a dildo in a restaurant. It's not, you don't know the joke. And he's like, but that's ridiculous. And he goes, it kills everywhere else I go. Have you ever done a show that's not an open mic? And he goes, no. And I go, well, then that's why it's killing. It's because it's killing the other comics who aren't, or laughing at what you're doing, not what you're doing. It's silly to them and crazy, but nobody wants to do that. If I'm eating dinner, and she goes, well, why would people be uncomfortable? The lady keeps like chiming in, and I'm like, maybe you're that way, ma'am, and I get it. But if someone paid money to go watch a show and now they have a dildo, they're uncomfortable. It makes people uncomfortable. And it's crazy that you have this. All they think is like, did he go buy the dildo on his way here? Does he have this dildo? Is he like, I was like, dude, the simple fact that you could get in your car and like, all right, I got my keys, I got my, fuck, I forgot my dildo. And you got to go inside and go get it so you can do 5 minutes of comedy in a bar in Derby, Connecticut. It's like, you should be working on your material. And he's like, so you can't bring it here? I go, I'm not saying no to anything. You do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying, I don't know. I the guy who books things, I wouldn't hire you based on that. I did just recently book a guy who I guess used to break out dildo. I didn't know he did the dildo thing, but now he's the one who shows porn on his phone. I won't book him again because he's showing porn to the audience member. Talk about porn. It's funny. The shock thing, I get it. You're trying to be edgy. Do that shit on fucking social media. Do that shit on your TikTok. Do that shit on your Instagram story. That we can use visuals and shit. Because no, it's just ruining everybody. And business wise, the restaurants being cool enough to let me do this as a second show I do. The last thing they want is a complaint that, hey, I felt uncomfortable. Some guy broke out a dildo and waved it at me as I was trying to eat pasta. So who's the piece of shit? Is it me for being the guy who says whatever I want? We just talked at the beginning of this thing. I say crazy shit in the show. I'm not somebody who ever limits people's speech or whatever like that, but trying to give advice, but also just saying, hey, don't do that. And using the kid being there as an excuse. I think I still would have been upset if the kid wasn't there. You know what I mean? But same thing. Is it the guy for breaking out a dildo? Now, he's a comic. He's allowed to be creative. He's allowed to come up with any ideas he wants. I don't think he understands how hacky it is. And I'm not trying to be insulting to him, but he's so new. He doesn't get that like a million people try to do those things, but it doesn't work. Is it Elliot for being there and being a child, making everybody uncomfortable? How dare he have a future and work on shit and try to be a good comic? He just put his head down the whole time. He didn't really give a shit what's going on. But this also was one of the first shows that his parents weren't hanging out at because they know he can just be there. It's also like I say, we do it so early. It's still light out, whatever. They come pick him up afterwards, and they know that I give that kid spots all the time, and he's fine and safe there. But this is the first time a kid turned to his mom, and it probably would have been weirder for him if his mom was there and they're waving a dildo.
Thank God, yeah.
She's like, I've got that one. And you're like, oh no, it's like you don't want to hear that from your mom. Is it the other comics chiming in, going whatever, carrot top or whatever, or is it is it comedy for seeming like it's so easy, seeming like that it's something that anyone can do, but it can't. You're not all funny. You're not. If you have to show me something, then you're not funny. If you can't explain it, then you should be the one laughing in the audience, not on stage. And if you can't do it yet, but you love comedy, your whole job is to work on the. He's like, well, how do I do that? I go, you work on the joke. You sit there and you work on your wording. You edit. You change. You can describe the shit. I just made jokes about this dildo. I didn't show it once. You guys all know what it looks like. It's very simple.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So who's the piece of shit in the story?
So for me, there are two separate incidents here.
Okay.
The first one is the Elliot being there, the 15-year-old kid.
Which that guy couldn't control or help. It's not his fault.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean?
But part of the reason why his parents know he's cool with you is because you have booked him, you have worked him, and you've created an environment where they know their 15-year-old son's going to be safe. I mean, he's 15. He's not 12. So you know what I mean? Like he does have some maturity, but in that instance, he was mature enough to put his head down. But at the same time, you're the host of this open mic. You've set this up. You've made the deal with the restaurant. And if somebody told me not to do something and they had put that effort in at the open mic, there would have been a question as to why, but it wouldn't have been aggressive. It would have been like, hey, how did I screw up? Which leads me to the second point of you teaching. So in the Elliot situation, I don't really think there is a piece of shit other than the woman. It wasn't your joke. What is it? Your dildo, you old bitch? Just because you think you're involved?
It might be.
Okay, well, I didn't mean to.
It's his wife. You know what I mean? It really could be.
But that's my point. Like you said he's an old man, right?
I mean, I say old man. He might be my age. He's just weathered worse. I'm an old man. I'm almost 50, so he's probably in his 50s.
But then tell that broad to go back to the kitchen where she belongs and stop fighting your battles for you. If he's truly considers himself a comedian, the comedian should go have a conversation with the other comedian. Your wife doesn't need to be involved. Why is she? To be fair,
the reason why she was involved is it was at the end. I was cleaning up, and they were both just getting up and saying bye. They were just standing there. But I think she really did. She did really just have questions because they don't know shit. They've just gone to mics. No, I'm the only host that talks to people. Most of these things, it's usually a younger comic and doesn't say, and they all just let anyone do whatever. They don't give a fuck. It's about them. I stupidly try to nurture and help when I can. And sometimes it's accepted, but sometimes people don't want to hear my shit. Some people don't know who the fuck I am. And I don't mean that in a braggadocious way, but they don't know who I am that have done shit. They just think, there are people that think, well, we're both at open mic because we're at the same level. And it's like, we're not in any way. And I can give you, there was even, the guy even kind of said, he goes, well, maybe you should write a book on it. And then someone laughed. And I'm like, funny thing,
I did.
I actually fucking did about this kind of thing and how you should act in shows and shit.
And that was, so my first piece of shit's her. Like,
yes, Kevin.
You
Italian as fuck.
You and him could have had a good conversation. I don't see it getting to the point where she's, that's pretty good.
To be honest, I had a better conversation with her than him. He was really adamant on this. He needs it. He talks to it. He has to describe the football helmet to this helmet and all that. It's like, Yeah, it was.
So in the first situation, maybe not her as much then, but still, I think like if it was that big of an incident, you guys have the conversation. In the advice now, for me, the piece of shit in the advice situation is both the old man and several of the younger Carrot Top comics that were kind of busting your balls. It's the old man. You've been given comedy advice before that you disagree with, correct?
Yes. Kevin wins, by the way. We'll get through it in a second, but Kevin got to use the award. Go ahead. Out of context and in context, it nails both ways. That's why I'll bring it up in a second. This is Dion, by the way. He was there last night. I have a joke I've been doing with a callback, and the pronouns are him, ham, and that's what he's saying about her and him because they were both. I wasn't gonna say they were both large people, but they're large people.
That doesn't surprise me.
The winner.
Yeah, I need the dildo. But that's my point, kind of, right? Like, you have been given advice before, have you not, that you disagree with?
Yeah.
And
but I've appreciated the advice given.
Right. So if you had given me that advice and I was married to having my dildo on stage, I'd go, oh, thanks so much. I didn't think about it that way. I'd walk away and never bring the dildo to your mic again. Doesn't mean I'd get rid of the dildo, but
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I would take it as, oh, this guy's trying to help, not critique me. You didn't stop his set. You didn't let him go. Like, you let him do his time, and then you pulled him aside and were like, hey, just so you know, this is why it was a problem, and if you want to get booked. And then if you're one of those three comics making your jokes about Carrot Top, you know what Carrot Top did? Built his own goddamn props.
Yeah.
Like, as much as you took the time
build your own dildo is what we're saying.
That kind of, in the sense that you were explaining with a joke. Like, if you take the time to put a joke together... Uh-oh, am I in trouble?
No, I forgot one part of this story that Dion just reminded me. Go ahead, and then you might want to change your POS.
Okay, but just so for him, like, take the advice and move on. And if you're one of these younger comics, like, were these guys, and I'm not trying to get you to sound like like you're pompous or anything, but were all of those comics kind of busting your balls about it at your level?
No.
And that's kind of my point. Like,
they were buzzing. They're friendly with me. They were just doing that. They liked that I had to be in this weird conversation. When I got there, 10 comics the list goes out at 6:30. We got there at 6:33. 8 comics surrounded me like, I'm first. I said that first. And I go, you all need to fuck off. So like right away. Usually comics don't do that. They're just like, okay, guys, you get in the line. I'm like, grow up. We're in a basement. Get the fuck away from me. So I'm that guy anyway. So they all know they can kind of bust my butt. So they kind of like seeing how frustrated I was. So they're like, oh, let's just throw fucking salt on the wound.
Okay, so that's not as bad then. But the point I was making, like, if I saw you giving our friend Avery advice, I wouldn't walk over and undercut your advice. Particularly if you were advising him how things work in Connecticut comedy, right? You would know way more than me. Whereas if Manny and I,
but there are some comics who feel like this is a way to show that they're a comic. A lot of guys who don't have experience or ability will go, also, you should. It's like, stand back, man. I got this one because, and then Avery also, there'd be a difference in how Avery, knowing me, knows that I pay attention. Avery will hit me up and be like, hey, do you mind me running by this by you? Because he knows I don't mind it at all. And I like doing that kind of thing. Other comics just want to give advice that would work for them, not for the comic. I know Avery's act enough to go, this works for you, not for me. I'm not giving you advice that I hate when someone's like, well, if I was doing the joke, well, you're not doing a joke. It's not your joke. No, exactly. If anything, when I hear that, I go, ooh, you're going to steal my joke. Don't do that.
Please don't steal my joke. Yeah.
Just so we get to this quick. So in case you don't want to get your final answer in quickly.
Yeah, no, I reserve the right to change now that new evidence has been brought forth.
Dion goes, you called her fat to her face. Both of them. I did.
You know what? I don't want to change my piece of shit.
I forgot I called them fat, but they know.
But yeah, it's just it's him. If you really want to be a comic, take advice from the people who have made it further than you. But also stay true to yourself, right? Like, take that advice under. We've talked about it before. Somebody gave me the advice to stop doing crowd work. They're like, focus on your material. I enjoy doing crowd work, but I realize that there's truth to I'm doing too much of it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
take everything under advisement. Like, keep being yourself, but listen to everybody. They all have a unique perspective. You know?
Well, the best crowd work, and I don't want to turn this into a whole comedy lecture thing. But the best crowd work there is, in my opinion, is the one that comes naturally and just organically. When comics tell me they're working on it, like, you shouldn't work on that. What you should work on is trusting your comedic instincts. You're funny, no matter what, even if you're not at a good level yet, whatever. If you're doing comedy and you're consistently trying to work at it, something drew you there. Someone said you are, or you at least find yourself funny, which is you have. If you don't do that in comedy, you shouldn't be in comedy. You should. When people ask me who my top 5 favorite comedians are, I put myself in the list all the time, and people always go, "That's a little cocky." I'm like, well, if I don't like me, who the fuck's gonna? Like, everything I say, I find funny. Damn. To the point where I keep working on it to record it. I've got to be a huge fan of me. You know what I mean? I'm laughing at all these things. I think about thinking, oh, that's hilarious. And I say it. So why, if I wasn't a fan of me, what's the point? You know? So, but to be able, when I do crowd work, it's just something that just comes to me. And I trust that I'm funny enough to go, say it out loud. That thing you just thought of, say it out loud. This will be funny. Do it. But then I work on my act, so my act can be working with it. I work really hard I work harder on my delivery and my in my cadence and all that stuff, in my way to tell a joke, inflections and everything like that, because I want to make sure that when I do crowd work or a joke, it all sounds like I'm making it up. The best compliment I get all the time after every headlining set I do, almost every single time, at least 2 or 3 people come up and go, "Dude, I love the fact that you don't have any jokes. I love the fact." Dude, that happened at the album recording last year on a Saturday. One of the people came up and said, "It's crazy that you just go up and riff at an album recording." But they really thought that because the way I deliver it and say it, it sounds like I'm just talking and having fun and I'm just spitballing, if you will, because I worked really hard. That way it allows my crowd work to come in and out, so everything seems the same. The energy's matched, the same thing. And so that's what you should be doing. But if your jokes are super tight and your jokes are great, and your material's awesome, and then you will just organically come out with a wacky crowd work line, it hits so much harder because crowd work should be the icing on the cake. It shouldn't be the cake. You know what I mean? It's got to be that to make it good. So that's why if you work on your jokes, Bobby, and you have them, they all bang, 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 and then you throw out something like that, it makes it feel so much more real, the comedy. It's like, and they also feel like, wow, we can tell these are jokes. But also, this became special for this show because of the Good Morning Stormy. You know, it makes it more special because they're like, oh, this is for us. He won't say that anywhere else, and they kind of like that. It becomes a special moment.
And what I was doing, and you've seen my act, is I have some people, like I had some crowd work moments that would lead into jokes, and I was getting good at creating the same rhythm. But the point I was making is take it under. Stop being a douche. I know you pretty
people
well.
Watching on my Facebook, I'm kicking it off right now, just so you know, by the way. We went a little late there. So if you're on my Facebook right now, head on over to POS Mornings on YouTube for the rest of the show. I'm doing that right here. So if you could, thank you. Sorry about that quickly. But yeah, I feel like we haven't even told the story yet. We're having a good time. This might be a longer show than normal.
But, maybe.
Yeah, but
no, so for me, yeah, it's definitely him. I get the young comics busting balls, but if somebody's truly giving advice, let them give the advice and then bust Pat's balls after.
But, okay, and I'll play devil's advocate with this real quick. Sometimes when you're working on a joke, especially when you're newer, I mean, even now, I guess, it is hard to hear advice about your material when you think it's gotten laughs or things, and because you've developed it. The hardest advice, it's very easy for comics to give other people advice because they're looking at their jokes just on face value. There's no gray. They have no commitment to the joke. They're just hearing the joke and they're going, you should do this and this instead of this. Or you ever tried saying this? And comics will take that and go, okay, thank you. But in their head, they're like, fuck you, man. That's not how it happened at first, because that gets caught in your head too much, even though that shouldn't be in there. But it does get caught. Like when the joke really happened, wherever it came from, it did start a certain way. So there is backstory or other things that you think are important, but in reality are not important. Or you do feel like, hey, when I created this, this was the thing, this was the vision. So for you to say I shouldn't have this part, fuck you, man. This is my baby I made. Don't shit on my baby. You know what I mean? I get that defensiveness sometimes, and to be honest, I appreciate the little pushback a little more, at least meaning that the guy gives a shit about the jokes, saying, hey, this works really well. And I try to explain to him, but you're working to the back of the room. You gotta, like when I did on Mike 2 nights ago, a guy grabbed me and said, I had all these jokes that were about fruit. And it was like all these puns, you know me, and I love puns and shit. It was all these crazy banana jokes. And he's like, so he goes, you were laughing, you're a good comic. And he starts like grabbing, he goes, can I talk to you? I'm like, hey man, I'm trying to leave. And he's like, I go, just message me. I don't know the guy. And he's like, no, man, I need to talk to you now. And I'm like, all right, dude, you're getting a little aggressive. Relax. But okay, fine, go ahead. And he's like, so you think I can do that? Do you think it's this and that, whatever? And I'm like, he goes, do you think it's corny? It's not, I don't know if it always hits. I go, have you ever been on a show where you got paid? And he goes, no. I go, then the jokes haven't been tested yet. Do those banana jokes in front of 55-year-old people that are out just having a good time and they're going to chuckle. It's not going to murder. It'll be fine. It's not going to work at an open mic. Everybody's drunk. They're there for wing specials, and it's comedians not paying attention to you. They're all there working on their own shit. It's not going to work.
That's a trap people fall into, right? Like they make the back of the room laugh at all these mics, and they get paid for a show, and they go, I don't know why the audience doesn't like me. And it's like, because you opened with 19 abortion jokes in a row.
Right.
You know, that works.
Yeah, the guys that I like to give spots to at the beginning are the guys that I see not getting the reactions I know they should be getting because they're at a mic, and I don't want them to get frustrated. When I started with Dan Brown, when I saw Dan at the open mics at Joker's Wow, when I first met him, his jokes were not hitting with people, but I'm like, this is odd and quirky and different. People would like this. And I'm like, I got to get you a guest spot. There's other guys like that I tried to help. Dave Hintz, who we used to have on the show all the time. Dave, I would do that because he was cleaner then. And I was like, these jokes are funny, but it's not going to land at a fucking dirty ass, fucking filthy open mic with everything's dick jokes and shit. So, piece of shit's me. It's always me. I should just shut my mouth. I should stop having I always try to help people. I'm done. Like, I mean, well, fuck you. Read my book. Like, I run the mic. Well, you want to bring out a dildo? Bring out a fucking dildo. I can just say to the guy, don't do it, and not explain why. Most people just said that. I like to figure out my shit. This guy can figure out his own path. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one day they'll have like the dildon't special and be like, this guy's the best.
Do you think there's a real possibility of that? The dildon't special?
Yeah, I think there is.
I don't.
By the way, good morning, Chris. And yeah, you're right, dude. It's got to be an even number. By the way, you want to talk about a good joke? I don't want to ruin what it's doing. 15-year-old kids up there doing a joke about. They say you can't have opinions on pro-choice, but I'm closer to being a kid than any of you guys. So can a 15-year-old talk about it? And I'm like, okay. I kind of like where he was going. He's doing a joke on you can do this or that, and like subliminally going, have an abortion. Do it. Come on, do it. That wasn't the main part of the joke, but the fact that he's just subliminally tossing in there, go have one right now. So like, I'm not worried about the kid being bothered by the dildo. It's just weird to have a dildo.
Also,
not women. If you have a dildo at home, do you? It's the best.
You just leave it at home. Don't do jokes with it. I also don't want to see you do jokes with it at home. Yeah, like if you pull the dildo out in the bedroom, I don't want to hear it be fucking Jeff Dunham's. I am a penis on a stick.
You know what, dude? I just found my kink finally.
Then, Pat, you're going to love comedian Gemini.
Oh, I know Gemini. I forgot about that motherfucker. Oh, God. We had him do New Year's Eve at Joker's Wild one time. And someone called up and they go, but this guy, Dan Cowlight, very funny comic. He would work the Jokers with me and he was taking the phone calls and someone's like, I need to get tickets to New Year's Eve to see this guy Gemini. Is it going to sell out and is he any good? And he goes, the answer to both of those, ma'am, is no. Fuck. What do you got?
Oh, let's.
By the way, dude, everything was your Twitter again. All the views just go, nope.
Yeah, but now we got Chris Abels aboard. Sorry, my phone just rebooted, so give me one.
Oh, I can do one.
I should have it right now as soon as it decides to load. Okay. Give me one. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Do you want to hear about, I know we talked about fat people with dildos, so do you want to hear about a Bay of Pigs 2.0? Or would you rather hear about Russell Crowe calling
other shit, that's another fat pig.
Exactly.
Let's go Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe on actors complaining about starring in superhero films. quote, "You're here for the wrong reasons if you expect it to be life-changing. You're telling me you signed up for a Marvel movie in some fucking universe for cartoon characters and you didn't get enough pathos?" Russell Crowe has no problem calling out the hypocrisy of actors dissing their own superhero films. The new trend as of late was most recently seen by Dakota Johnson, who commented on Madam Web after the Sony produced film flopped at the box office. Johnson told Bustle that she understood why the film was ripped to shred by critics, citing that art does not do well when it's made by committee. Crowe, when asked about his own experience in a slew of superhero films compared to Johnson's, told GQ that of course tentpole franchise films like Thor, Love and Thunder are made by a gigantic machine like Johnson was criticizing. I don't want to make any comments to what anybody else might have said or what their experience is, but you're bringing out the impish quality of my humor, Crowe said. You're telling me you signed up for a Marvel movie and some fucking universe for cartoon characters and you didn't get enough pathos? Not quite sure how I can make this better for you, sweetheart. It's a gigantic machine and they make movies at a certain size. Crowe cited his own experiences working with DC Films' Man of Steel and Zack Snyder, in addition to Marvel and Disney's Thor, Love and Thunder. Crowe also stars in the upcoming Sony film, Kraven the Hunter. These are jobs, you know. Here's your role, play the role. If you're expecting this to be kind of life-changing event, I just think you're here for the wrong reasons, Crowe said. The Gladiator Oscar winner did admit that adjusting to working with a blue screen is challenging, much like how his Thor co-star and fellow Academy somebody else said previously. It can be challenging working with a blue screen world when you have to convince yourself a lot more than they are just internal machinations of your character. But for anything to be, and you can't make this a direct comment on her because I don't know her and I don't know what she went through. And the fact that you can have a shit experience on a film, yeah, you can. But is that the Marvel process? I'm not sure you can say that. I haven't had a bad experience. I mean, on Thor, okay, it's a Marvel movie, but it's also Taika Waititi's world, and it was just a gas every day being silly.
Taika Waititi's.
Dude, I was sweating when that one came up. He continued. And then with J.C. Chander on Kraven, I'm just bringing a little weight to the circumstances. Some would say you're bringing a lot of weight to the circumstances.
Ew, you're fat.
But who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it all these people? Because he does have a point. You're coming out for a Marvel movie and then going, man, the plot here isn't that thick. Is it fucking Russell Crowe? It's very easy to criticize when you're at the top of the world, right? You've been in a ton of great movies, Braveheart. You said that thing about the cop who pulled you. Oh, no, wait, that was the other better version, Mel Gibson. Anyway, who's the piece of shit in this story, Pat? We'll kick it to you first.
It's not Russell Crowe. To be honest, I like that because usually when all the Marvel stuff started really kicking off, Robert Downey Jr. and all those guys, Chris Evans, were talking about how amazing these are and the CGI. I kind of like that Russell Crowe is like, listen, it's hard to work with the fucking blue screen, man. Like it's got to be hard to have to like act when you're supposed to have people around you and stuff like that. It probably is better for guys who are good at theater, guys and gals who are good at theater, because they have to really like project that there's not a live audience there. They have to deal with all these kind of things. Same thing with the blue screen. They're pretending like the pretend you're sitting on a dragon is way different than pretending you're a pirate. You know what I mean? Like it is crazier that you have to like pretend to be afraid of bees coming at you when there's no bees there. It's a lot of horse shit. And then knowing that people are going to see the bees attack you, not you. So, like, that's the part, too. Like, you're doing all the work to, like, kind of make this fake thing. Like, Transformers, if you just break down all the CGI, is just Shia LaBeouf running around in circles and Megan Fox being hot.
They just filmed the Shia LaBeouf breakdown. That's all.
Yeah, and then they just kept Megan Fox working on a car in tiny shorts, which, no one's mad at that. But I'm saying is, like, but people go to see the Transformers, and I'm not saying that the people that don't put the work in to see aren't amazing. It's the top people, and it looks incredible. It's insane what they've done in the last 20 years, from shitty CGI to that. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Oh, it's incredible, breathtaking.
It's amazing, but they're also having to keep live people in that as well, and not make it all AI. Which is a lot of the movies that are really looking cool. A lot of movies coming out now are looking like video games, and because video games that does a great job and making you know that it's okay to watch a long thing. At the beginning, when video games start putting like little films in between, like your play part, you'd be like, fuck this part. You'd fast forward. Now sometimes you watch that more to want to play the game because it's so incredible and the story's so like The Last of Us. They turned it into movies because it was already a movie.
It was such a well written plot executed with such high graphics that with just a few tweaks, you had a whole TV show.
And then but when you're playing the game, you're still doing the movie. So when the comparisons were there, they had to be done. The comic books, it wasn't like when you were reading it, you were seeing it come to life or seeing these things happen. So this is even more amazing that you're making it literally pop off the pages. So it's not, I like that Russell explained that. He's like, yeah, he was kind of a little gruff in it, but that's who he is. He's this fucking fat Australian guy who was decent at acting, caught fire, and then now just hasn't really gone away from the world. It's worth putting him in. But when he comes in these movies now, it's kind of like almost like Travolta when he would like made his comeback in the Pulp Fiction. It's like, oh, where was this guy for a while? Okay, now he's accepted again. Or kind of like Josh Brolin when he was in Old Country for No Men. And you're like, wow, where's this guy? The Goonies guy, where's he been? And you're like, oh, he's reinvented himself and he's back here. So I kind of get that. The piece of shit in this story are people that go to some of these movies, but not all of them. Like, the ones that are bombing, it's really because of the nerds. It's the fucking nerd. The nerds demanded this for years and years. When Iron Man first came out, and even more so, when Batman first got dark, that's when all of a sudden everything changed. Because before that, goofy-ass Superman, you couldn't get the other characters. No one really knew Iron Man. Now everyone knows him as the most popular guy. But you were a dork and a nerd when you knew Iron Man back in the day. You're like, isn't that just a Batman ripoff? Like, that's not really a Batman ripoff, but yeah, I guess it's kind of. He's the old rich guy who's on the other side, whatever. For a while, people always thought, like, which side? Because it seemed like DC and Marvel had a character, each one to match up. Captain America, Superman. Now, in reality, it's not even close to what that is, but they were like, oh, red, white, and blue, that's your guy.
Yeah, Captain America easily wins.
Right, no, but not even wins. But back then it wasn't win because Superman got a movie or two. Captain America didn't have a movie or two. So people knew if you said superheroes, no matter what cape you're wearing, your grandma go, what are you, Superman? You're like, well, no. And then like, and same thing like with Aquaman and this and that, everything has their own fucking shit. When the nerds finally fought back and said, we need to do this, and people started like, we can start writing this dark. We can start taking these things and making it graphic novels and really get deep into it. They became these movies, and people wanted more and more and more and more. So what did they do? Hollywood changed what they do, and they became these comic book feeding monsters, these giant machines like sweatshops and shit to just pump it out. We've got our CGI people, we got our studios, we just get famous people, throw them into, hey, Benedict Cumberbatch, you want to be Doctor Strange? No one knew about Doctor Strange unless you were like the most virgin. You know what I mean? Like you wizard magic fucking, different dimension guy, that you were not getting laid if you read Doctor Strange. You were fucking, you were getting beat up for Doctor Who, so you got a little bit more magic in your shit. So all of a sudden, all this stuff comes out because this thing, and of course now Hollywood's like, what's next? Madam Web, this, that, whatever fucking thing we can pull out. Let's take that movie Peacemaker with John Cena and hope that's a fucking something. It's like, it's not. It's stupid. No one gives a shit about Peacemaker. They were gonna make one about the Condiment Guy, the one that Batman fought one time. They literally were talking about making Condiment Man as a movie, which would be funny for a fucking minute. It's better off just being in Lego shit. But they were just trying to jump at everything they could. So, but when a movie comes out and then everyone's like, oh, this sucks. This is terrible. We're not going to go to this. And then they don't watch it. They don't lose a couple $1 million. They lose $300 million because they're doing everything they can to make you feel like you're reading the book and it's come to life. So it's like, if you're not going to support it, then shut the fuck up. Stop breaking it down, you goddamn nerds. You finally got stuff you want. What do you want next? Pussy?
I see what you're saying, but I'm going to take the counterpoint here.
Yeah, please do. I also don't really care about what I just said.
No, I know. It's all good. I think we saw the destruction of Star Wars because they put a woke cunt in charge of it who didn't understand the universe. I think we're seeing the destruction of Marvel for the same reasons. I think originally it took off when they had people who were actual nerds in charge of things. And then when it got big, Like after Avengers Endgame, they hire these Hollywood execs who don't know the fan base, who don't know what they're doing, to push these bullshit movies like Madam Web.
Right.
All we want to see is Miles Morales. Give me Black Spider-Man. That's what I want to see a live action version of. The nerds that we were talking about have been saying.
Real quick, I don't need to go topic, but after watching everything they've done with that, I love what they've done with the cartoon version.
Right, and that was.
I don't think I want the live action. I think that's so. I want everything to be this. What they've been able to do with that, it doesn't feel cartoony or cheesy. It feels like a real fucking movie.
Okay, maybe you're happy with what you want. Can I tell you what nobody wanted?
Yeah.
Madam Web.
Without a doubt.
Right, like they didn't listen to people. They got rid of the nerds and things and tried to make it woke and happy for everyone. I got to watch a bunch of the Marvels, where it's a bunch of whiny women the whole time pretending they're strong, and it's like.
And I wanted Captain Marvel. That's a comic book I actually like because she was powerful as shit and she could match up with all the other people. So, but they just fucking went the wrong route with that.
No, they made it womanified. Like they took all the parts that made her a strong, independent woman and got rid of it to make it fit the woke agenda and pass it on to some Indian chick. You know what I mean? Like they destroyed the franchise because they got away from the nerd stuff. Star Wars is the worst one.
Like, yeah, I just heard that new thing that came out. Yeah. I didn't see it, but I already saw every YouTube thing going, the ending is like horse shit. You won't believe it. It's just all of a sudden women. It's not about men and women, guys. It's sci-fi. They're not even men and women. They're fucking creatures half the time. What are we doing?
And I can't believe Kevin nailed it. Like they're man haters. Like it's literally like you put people in charge who took these heroes who, let's be honest, in the comics, like there was occasional flirting, but there wasn't really like sex. It wasn't really like, oh, they're in relationships, and they made it a thing in this universe, and it shouldn't have been. It's like you said, it's a comic book, and I'm not saying it's just like, oh, it's not a problem that they put black people in or anything like that. I don't care that all the gingers are now black dudes in movies. Like that's fine with me. I have no issue. The woke I'm talking about is like when Wonder Woman stops her jet and gives a lecture about how the fossil fuels within it are killing the environment more than the evil villain they're fighting. That's the shit that ruined comic book movies. Let's talk about Deadpool, the biggest movie of the era for comic books, right? It grossed the most. It was the first R-rated to cross certain things, yada, yada, yada. Wouldn't have happened if Ryan Reynolds hadn't leaked the film because Hollywood just didn't get it enough. Like he leaked that trailer and got the movie made. They don't get it, and then when they put people in charge who did, they got rid of them as quickly as they could.
Yeah, because Ryan Reynolds was also in one of the worst ones ever made, Green Lantern. That was awful. That was horseshit. So it was about allowing someone to bring the comic book to life but being true to the form, but also making one that goes, this is for the comic book people. This isn't for the masses. We're not trying to appease everyone. We're trying to appease the fans that want this shit. And it's not even about when people get mad about the Disney woke thing, whatever like that. For people that like comic books, listen, when they first started breaking out Wonder Woman and they made her the way she's supposed to be, they did a great job with the movie. Like she wasn't second fiddle to whatever. It wasn't even about her being a woman. It's not. Yes, she's called Wonder Woman. He's called Superman. They're both not men or women. They're from somewhere else. That's human. Like it's not even really. That's the names that's what I loved about the movies. What did they call it? Sorry, Princess. They call it Diana and Kal-El. Because like they're like that's their names to them. They don't call each other Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and shit. Like Bruce, that's who they are. They're people, and they made it seem more real. A lot of the female characters that they would break out, it's just when they started to like force it down your throat that it's about them being a woman. It's not. They're not women. There were messages in the comic books. There were times where Stan Lee and them would try to do the whole, "Hey, we got to keep the environment good." Da, da, da. You just didn't read that comic book. You know, you're like, "All right, this is corny. I don't give a fuck. Get back to the fighting part, whatever it is." There's messages and all that shit, and that's fine. But it's the fact that like now it's become like I said, it's become a money grab. It's become a thing. It was cool that you would wait for the next one to come out and they all made sense together. Now you can't even, it was fun it was only 5 years ago that you could watch the whole timeline of all the Marvel shit. From the beginning part of Iron Man to all the Avengers things to building up all that thing to getting to your final thing with Thanos and everything. And it was fantastic. Like you could watch it through and go to this, to this, to this. You can't even do that now because they're just throwing everything with the multiverses and it's just trying to like money grab all this shit. Same thing with the Star Wars. You had your groups of 3. Now you don't have that. Now you have 95 things. You got to give a fuck about Boba Fett. You know, like whatever. I don't. Baby Yoda. What the fuck? We're just money grabbing. That's all it fucking is. So I think Russell Crowe is right where he's like, listen, Toots, fucking this part can be hard, but we're not doing it to be the characters. He goes, I don't even know. I'm playing Zeus. I think in this fucking Thor movie. I'm just a big fat guy in the corner, and they just pay me a shit ton of money. So that's what you do, bitch. You fucking just pretend that you're fighting a dragon and you move on.
Absolutely. And for me, it's anybody who's complaining is my piece of shit. Like, if you were given, even if you going in, I knew this was a bad movie, then make it good. Right? I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but of a shit movie where one person's acting changed their career. They're like, this guy was good. That could be you.
Right.
You did say that Russell Crowe's star movie was Country for No Old Men.
No Country for Old Men, yeah.
But when you flipped
not Russell Crowe, Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin's no, but you said it backwards, and a Country for No Old Men would be Lesbos, the island.
Yes,
that's where Diana, Wonder Woman's from.
Yeah, she likes that. That's was it Glamazon? Fuck their stupid
Just thing. They're not allowed to call it Lesbos.
Right. They could call it Lesbos if they put an S at the end. I think that's coming soon. Lesbos will be the new Thor's heaven, whatever the fuck it would be.
That's my favorite part about Lesbos is that it was a real island for lesbian women, but they gave it the masculine name.
And good morning, Terry Nee with Russell Crowe. I like that there.
I like that too. I also like that Terry blamed Obama for this. It actually is kind of fitting here.
And we like supporting the other funny shows. I guess you can go check out Eastside Dave because he broke down the new Star Wars thing and it was a brutal takedown. Eastside Dave's the best, and they have really good other people on those shows too. I don't know if you know who they are. They're great.
Yeah, Yaddle Chaddle's back. Dave went solo. You can check us out. We'll be on Monday, I believe.
I'm getting a lot of messages about my post about the dildo guy on Facebook. Someone's like, "Who brought the dildo?" But I don't know if someone saw the post. I took a picture of the sign-up sheet and then wrote next to the guy who brought the dildo, guy who brought the dildo. So it's also me. I'm not gonna lie that I'm also the piece of shit kind of and all this stuff. But all right. So I had a bunch of other stories prepared, but I think Dion's programming the show today. So he messaged me a thing, and he's usually good for two things. Stories about me being an asshole or stories about people that are mentally disabled. That's his art. In Picasso, he dabbles and downs. It's what he does. So I don't even know what this story is. I'm just trusting Dion on this one here. Child driver with mental disability behind the wheel again Wednesday evening. In a video sent in by viewers, the boy can be seen behind the wheel.
Real quick and just throw up Kish's comment before we get too far from Darth Vader, because that's my new Husey vote for the day.
If Darth Vader was truly evil, he would have. Oh, Jesus. All right. You could have just read it.
I didn't want to say that.
No, and then you know what? Then forget it. If we're going to dabble point, here we go. Thank you, ZZ. Yeah, his dick got burned off, so he can't do it. He would just be bumping uglies with them.
You know what, ZZ? Way to shoot that down. I like it. I also like that you busted Kevin with dabbles and downs. That got me pretty hard too.
All right. But he does dabble and down. The young boy who crashed his family's truck on Monday was behind the wheel again Wednesday evening. This time hitting up two cars in the HEB parking lot of Quisher Road. CCPD, I don't know where this is taking place. I'm trying to see. Was able to confirm that it was the same child from Monday's incident. The boy's age and identity will not be released. Police say no injuries were reported. In video sent in by viewers, the boy can be seen behind the wheel of a pink car. Bobby, we may need to find this video of a special needs boy driving around crashing his car.
Well, you tell a story, I'll search.
Police are still investigating the case. There has been no confirmation if Child Protective Services will be involved. On Monday, the boy caused at least 4 separate accidents at different locations until reaching a McDonald's parking lot. This is a developing story. Stay with News 3 for more updates. That's all it really has there. It's News 3 local news. I guess I can send you the link. There's the video on here if you want it.
Yeah, if you could, that would work.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem at all. All right, but before we see the video, who's the piece of shit? Is it this boy for never, stop chasing his dreams? You know what I mean? He wants to get behind the wheel. He's called behind the wheel. He sees a lot of other people that look like him driving. Like he probably hears people all the time saying, "Whoa, well, look at the way you're driving. You must be retarded." He's like, "I am. Thank you," and he just fucking takes off because that's fair. But let me try to send you this thing here. Is it the police? You know what? Don't arrest this guy. He's having fun. Yeah, I mean he caused several accidents, but whatever. It's good for you. You pull him over. You're like, "Whoa, what are you doing behind the wheel, little guy, little sport? What are you doing here?" Or is it other drivers for not being able to get out of the way of a retarded guy driving a car? Come on.
Yeah, it's
Learn
not like
reaction time.
I'm going to say it's not the fella. My man just needed some McDonald's. We've all wanted to go McDonald's that badly that we would steal our parents' car and drive it 2 days in a
He's
row.
killing it today.
He's on fire. Much like the car that the retarded boy crashed.
Well, you know what? I know you tried to take away Kevin's thing early. Kevin's back strong. Women can drive. He should be allowed to as well.
You know what, Kevin? Back in the lead, buddy. I like to think it was my creative pressure that drove you.
Even kids just like, word, Kevin. Like, they came together and agreed. Terry D said he might have been a Kennedy.
Good for you, Terry. Good for
Fucking Jesus Christ. Everybody's killing it. It's Friday's fun. All right, so here we go. Got a little video going. Boom. All right.
For me, it's McDonald's.
Are you able to make the video bigger or no?
Yeah, let me just push play quick.
Cool. I wonder if we get to see his head. I hate when they do the cam like this where you can't see the sides.
It's the same kid. Yeah.
Oh, they blurred it out. But they're just yelling it's the same kid, but we can't see that it's the kid.
No, I think it was because that he's a minor. They blocked.
Yeah, it's not because if they just showed a special needs guy, I'm not trying to be a dick, but we wouldn't know which one he was.
No, but in that town they would. Oh
no,
shit.
they all look the same. They're probably
Billy.
like that's either the one at McDonald's, the one at Burger King, or the one at the grocery store.
Okay. No, ZZ. The cop should not yell taser, taser, taser as they accidentally shoot him 3 times because they grabbed the wrong tool.
Why? They do that with other people.
Right, but we shouldn't treat them equally. Like, all you have to do is give this...
Jesus Christ, okay.
No,
here's a softball I didn't want to throw.
This is my piece of shit. It's McDonald's.
By the way, if you want Bobby's views on these kind of people, go watch the Patreon thing. Get to the end, see who Bobby nominates to add to the LGBTQ flag, and then watch this.
Honestly, guys, it was a really sweet message. It's McDonald's.
Oh.
Can you think of a better commercial for your food and for your new delivery app than this special needs boy who crashed his family's pink gay-ass car? Not once, but twice because he wanted McDonald's so badly. We heard you, Timmy. We heard how badly you wanted our, what is it? 2 sesame seed bun. Yeah. You know that one?
Big Mac?
Yeah. And our always hot, crispy fries. So we invented an app to prevent you from stealing your family's car. And then you just have Timmy going, yay, I was the criminal. Now I'm full.
You asked if I could think of a better commercial. I can't, but Chris Abels can. Geico, baby. Yeah, you can. 15% or more on our insurance.
What if we combine those two? It's the adult meal. It's the
Does it
adult
cover everything?
meal.
Does it cover everything? Yep, even active tard.
Even if your car gets stolen, but he did want the Paul Walker number 3, Chris.
Yes, he did.
But yeah, come on, McDonald's, where you at? I had to watch the commercial as I was working at McDonald's about the retarded boy they gave a job to and how he was such a great cashier, and just thought if he was at my McDonald's, I'd be doing double the work.
I ran over it. Like, that's a great commercial.
That's also a good coworker to have where you could be like, yo, close down the drive-thru, Timmy. What? Weren't you just saying you want to go to the drive-thru, Timmy? Okay.
Okay, Kish is back in the lead. Jesus Christ. Oh.
The dumb
Fucking Goober Eats. Dude, Goober Eats is the greatest thing I've
The-
ever seen in my life. Holy shit. Goober.
the WNBA
They
has
show up and
Caitlin
your
Clark.
food's half eaten. It's like, sorry. Sorry.
The WNBA has Caitlin Clark and that Angel Reese. The NBA had Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. We have Richard G. Kish versus Kevin G. Nicholson.
Oh, no, it's not just that everyone's Abel's is right in there too today, man. Like Eric Terry's bringing everybody's a fun today, but yeah, holy shit, dude. Goober Eats. It's like they're like you can choose the option to either like deliver it to the door or leave it on the steps. And the guy you walk out there and it's just he took a shit. You're like, I left it on the steps. It's like no, not your poop.
You're not supposed to work for this. It's the other way around, sir. And
Dude,
double
you look at-
down.
You look at the app to follow where he is, and the car's just spinning in circles. It's like, oh no.
Their app also syncs to police reports automatically. So if you see your driver's driving a pink car and that there's a pink car on the watch for you do the math. McDonald's is officially the golden arches, Chris Abels. I like that. He's our Jordan of the metaphor. He came in to storm the league.
Arch. Oh, I like how pirates are just editing themselves. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's that noise they make." Like, look at that. Arr.
Do you think the noise he made in the parking lot sounded something like "ba-da-dun-dun-dun" as he's crashing?
Dun, 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 dun. I hit it. Shit. By the way, you know what the piece of shit in the story is? Without a doubt. How about the parents who can't keep an eye on their retarded kid?
Pet, are you going to get in between him and McDonald's?
Oh, Bobby, I know it says they ended up there. I don't think that was the goal.
No, that was the goal. He's in the
think that's
McDonald's
where the car
parking lot.
stopped running.
No. He's in the McDonald's parking lot again when they stopped him because they're going, this is the same dude who did this on Monday. This is somebody who just wants McDonald's that badly.
Yeah, that would be great. Like, I got shit on my bag again. It's like, well, did you order shit? It's like, no, sir, I did not. Okay, we had to ask. All right, it's free delivery.
Then you tell him to take a picture of the bag, and you just hope the retarded person doesn't know how to use a camera.
Dude, like the old school movies in the 80s where the guy throws the newspaper, but he just nails everybody in the head. Just throw in your fucking bag of fucking Chick-fil-A at your fucking neck. There you go. Go ahead, chicken.
So I bet milkshake.
But dude, this is an underage kid driving a car 2 days in a row. Or like, they took Tuesday off, I guess. Monday and Wednesday just driving around. They're leaving him alone, the keys to the car alone. And it's just a lot going on. Who's watching this guy?
I'd also like to add Tesla as one of my pieces of shit. You got the self-automatically driving cars. You can't get one for Timmy?
Deliver it in 4 hours or it's free. Why are you ordering breakfast at midnight? Because I'll be hungry at 5 a.m. And I know Goober Eats. You know what? V's got a point. I know I should stop using his government name. He's Clownface now. The POS is McDonald's for not hiring the kid.
I mean,
He got to work.
yeah,
A lot of those guys don't get to work on time. He's there.
absolutely. And you know what? Madam Web acted like, oh, it was so hard to be in a movie. This kid would come to McDonald's with a smile on his face every day. You get a free meal if you work at McDonald's. He's leaving with a Happy Meal every day.
You ever seen Baby Driver? Man, that movie would be good if it was this guy instead of that kid.
Be awkward when Kevin Spacey was trying to fuck the retard the whole time, though.
And he goes, finally, the retard's gonna fuck you.
No.
Became the teacher.
Dude, and then Kevin Spacey's just forgiven because it was method
Yeah.
acting. Yeah, that works for me.
I'm gonna message this ticket to your ass. Okay.
You know how
Retarded.
they have different tiers on Uber where you could do like priority delivery or regular or schedule. Do you think in Goober Eats you could have like a priority that's where you get one on a leash with a real adult guiding them?
By the way, you know how phones work real well? I just got 3 notifications for offers for Uber Eats while we're talking next to my phone.
Jesus Christ.
But I didn't get any for the Special Olympics yet, so it's not really listening. But what you got anything? I got stuff.
Yeah, let me check what my other story was real quick. I'll tell you.
Everything I've got is presidential candidate stuff, so we don't want to get into that. We don't have to. I think one of them's fun because it's a Trump thing, but
Sorry, my phone's being dumb. It's like a woman runs it.
breakfast meals are better than lunch or dinner. I'm not going to change your mind. That's fucking accurate, bro. I think breakfast is the most fun foods of the whole day.
Yeah, breakfast is absolutely my favorite meal of the day. Whether it be a nice donut or a bowl of cereal or French toast and sausage and eggs, it's hard to beat that, really.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, think about it. Chicken and waffles is awesome because you're getting dinner and breakfast. That's why it's awesome.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I'm not a big pig guy, are you?
The food?
Yeah. Or the bay. As in, U.S. submarine pulls into Guantanamo Bay a day after Russian warships arrive in Cuba.
Let me reread that because this is kind of a big deal that nobody's fucking talking about. The U.S. submarine pulls into Guantanamo Bay a day after Russian warships arrived in Cuba.
Right.
I've seen this one before.
So, Bobby, they were out cruising, and there's a good bathroom in a rest stop at Guantanamo Bay. That's why they pulled in there.
Lots of fun recreational activities.
Yeah. Like
US
waterboarding.
A U.S. Navy submarine arrived in Gitmo, Cuba, in a show of force as a fleet of Russian warships gathered for planned military exercises in the Caribbean. U.S. Southern Central Command said the USS Helena, a nuclear, as George W. Bush would say, nuclear-powered fast attack submarine, pulled into the waters near the U.S. base in Cuba on Thursday, just a day after Russian frigate, a nuclear-powered submarine, an oil tanker, and a rescue tug crossed into Havana Bay. The stop is part of a, quote, routine port business visit as the submarine travels through the Southern Command's region. Other U.S. ships have also been tracking and monitoring the Russian drills, which the Pentagon says do not represent a threat. Who's the piece of shit in this story, Pat? Is it them for not telling us we're going through the Bay of Pigs again? Is it Russia? Finish up with the Ukraine, then you can do your Navy drills by Cuba. Right? Like, let's end one war and then we can deal with another. I'm tired of sending my tax dollars to a bunch of wannabe actors. Can't wait till we put that fucking president in the next Marvel movie. And then he bitches about how it was so much harder to be in Marvel than it was to fight the Ukraine war. Is it the U.S.? This is our chance. Let's put them down. Let's put these dogs down once and for all. Somebody call Mike Eruzione, see if he can suit up, and let's end this once and for all. Or is it Cuba? Like, get a Navy, goddammit. This is the 9th time ships circle your island. You should be independent. Fuck Russia. Fuck us. It's Cuba. You have the best cars in the world, the best cigars in the world, and hot women. What more do you want? Get a Navy to fucking defend yourselves. Viva la Fidel. Pat, who's your piece of shit?
Well, it's not Cuba's fault. I don't know if you know their history. One thing they're not good at is boats.
No, they can make anything float. Much
right,
like
but
the
they don't
movie,
make. They're not good war. They're more about being stealthy, not about safety or being able to fight anybody. Like, their boats are known for just bringing us every pitcher who's on the Marlins right now. Like, that's all that is. It's just like they all come over here, we're like scoop them up, and they go, there you go. They're not good at boats. It's not their fault.
No. In Apollo 13, the mom goes, if they made a washing machine that could fly, my Jimmy could land it. That's how the Cubans are. If a washing machine could float, they'll get it to the coast of Cuba.
Right, but your washing machine doesn't have missiles on it. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
I'm with you. I see. Yeah, it's more about floating than it is about killing.
Right. They're better at escaping than fucking going after shit. It's like, listen, I don't want a war. The last thing anyone wants is a war. There's gonna be a war in the next couple of years. It's either us versus China, us versus Russia. I don't know who it's gonna be, Russia, whatever. Nobody wants that shit because I think we also have this thought besides 9/11 that no one attacks our soil, dude. They're all here. Like, we're all. A great Daniel Tosh joke about the Olympics was like, You know, it's like weird when you watch the Olympics. You see the U.S. team. If you have the sound off, they don't tell you. You don't know what country they're from because it's got every other country. But when you see China's team, you know who the fuck they are. You're like, that's China. There's no one else there. Chinese. There's so many people here from so many places that we wouldn't know who the fuck's going. Especially now they're letting everyone just come running in, don't give a fuck, and then giving them housing and everything like that. The war would be right inside here anyway. We wouldn't be able to stop any. They're in everywhere. We would get destroyed on our land way more. They don't let us into China, but we let them in here. You know what I mean? They don't let us into Russia, but they let us in here. You know what I mean? We'd be fucked. We don't want that war. So if we're gonna do some shit, we gotta do shady shit. And where do you go to do shady shit? Cuba. You know what I mean? Guantanamo Bay. You go to the places where you got to get your fucking. We have to get our evil scientists. We have a bunch, and where are they chilling? Guantanamo Bay. We were just going to pick up some evil motherfuckers. That's what we had to do. So it's not us.
Operation Paperclip 2.0.
Right. Know what it is? It's Russia and China are the pieces of shit for not blowing up Guantanamo Bay. Of all the other things you want to blow up, that's where you go. You're like, and you could say it'd be a hard argument on our side to go because all the awful things that happen, and people are like, "Oh, you can't blow that place up." Everyone's like, "Yeah, but weren't they just being awful there? Weren't they just like torturing people?" I guess it's not the worst that a mistake happened and something hit it. So go take out our stuff. We can take out their best things, which is like that big stupid building with the weird Buddha tops. You know what I mean? Like they love that thing, or like whatever their big market, that big area where they all go and buy blue jeans. Blow that part up.
Yeah, okay. I mean, my piece of shit's China and Russia just because they're kind of terrible.
Like yeah, but we're terrible too.
But Russia has an ocean.
We're all terrible.
China. But Russia has an ocean right near China where they're friends with, and it wouldn't cause any issues that they could really run the drills if they want to. It's about poking the bear. And I don't want them to poke the bear.
Are we the bear?
Yeah. That's where the women are confused. If they're in the woods alone with a bear, it's just a man in a bear costume.
Okay, V, and we can get into this argument for a second if you want. But I'm not really a guy who has real good, knowledge on things. But when you're saying, you know how many guns we have in this country, not to mention some of the best technology in the world, we would suffer losses with the faith and strength as Americans. Hey, have you seen our news? We suck at guns, bro. Like, everything is like, I shot the wrong guy. I went to aim. These kids, school shootings, they're really just mad at one guy, but they're like, fuck, my aim's so bad, I'm shooting everybody. You know,
but
we're so bad at guns. Even our cops are bad at guns. We miss everybody. We never hit our targets. We suck at guns.
2 birds, 1 stone opportunity with those school kids, right? You take them in class and start teaching them how to shoot. They get the aggression out, and boy, when the chinos land, they're in for a surprise.
No, not why they're not? Because you know what else they're being taught all fucking day? Stop Asian hate. So they're not going to shoot them. They're going to shoot other white kids because they're told they're the evil ones. We were teaching our kids to fucking kill us.
But Mr. Tamburo,
you need a touch of Asian hate. Not a whole bunch, but you need like a smidgen of Asian hate. Like a little chink of it.
Mr. Tamburo told me that the Chinese had a human meat market in Taiping and that we should have a decent amount of Asian hate. Is that true? Now, like, Bobby, can you please come down to the principal's office again? Stop indoctrinating the going-to-be school shooters.
Kevin, once again, solving the world's problems with our Goober Eats assassination service. Dude, what would you do if a submarine pulls up? You're like, what's going on? And their head pops up and goes, hello! And you're like, oh, shit! You're driving the sub? Then they took the car keys. Where's McDonald's?
One day you're at the very busy Beijing markets, and you just hear, Aloha Squidward! And the guy with the SpongeBob backpack blows up.
Glub, 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 I'm drowning it. And then the guy just goes back into the sub. It's like, that's nice. He's dead. Who's the piece of shit, Bobby? You said Russia and China? Yeah, they're all pieces of shit. Everybody's...
Just stop. Be nice.
All right, Bobby, do you want... I'm going to try to cram in both of these. I think if we do one, we should do the other. I know we went a little over our time, but no big deal. What do you want first? Biden being dumb or Trump being mean?
Let's do Trump being mean, and then we'll get to Biden being dumb.
Okay. Trump's horrible city comment on Milwaukee was about policies, says New York Congresswoman who provoked response. Republicans gave differing accounts of former President Donald Trump's alleged remark Thursday about Milwaukee is a horrible city.
He's not wrong.
But the congresswoman whose question provoked the comment told the Post the context was clear. The internet exploded Thursday morning when Punchbowl News' Jake Sherman reported Trump in a Capitol Hill meeting with House GOP members said Milwaukee, where we are having our convention, is a horrible city.
Yeah.
I like how they're like, there's double meaning to that.
No.
A slew of Wisconsin congressmen present for the remarks challenging the report, or president, I'm sorry, but even they gave conflicting statements. Some said he was referring to election integrity, while one said he was talking about crime, and two declared he never said it at all. Republican Claudia Tenney of New York said she posed the question that led to the Milwaukee mention, telling the Post the presumptive GOP presidential nominee, who often hammers on voter fraud and election integrity, was talking about policy. The president was just setting forth the policies that he thinks are going to be the winning policies, she said by phone. And I got up and said the same question I've said in the media and in every interview I've done. I'm worried the Democrats are concerned about winning on process, not policies. What are we doing to make sure we don't have the kind of vote harvesting and obtaining ballots from illegal immigrants that we know the Democrats are doing? And the president immediately pointed out that Chairman Whatley was there, she explained, referring to Republican National Committee head Michael Whatley. He was specifically talking about voter fraud in places they were identifying, 19 areas, where they are known for voter fraud in their attempts to prime the pump in favor of Democrats, and one of them being Milwaukee. She didn't hear the former president say anything about crime. I think he actually even said it was a horror show, this voter fraud, and we're targeting these 19 areas. Tenney is familiar with the close elections. She reclaimed the Congress seat by 109 votes, whatever. Who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it Trump for the way he talks? Everyone loves him for it or everyone hates him for it. There's no in between. There's a million other ways. Every other politician would have found a better way, an easier way, a more politically correct way, if you will, of saying that he's not happy with the way that Milwaukee is doing things without calling the entire city horrible. But that is the charm of Trump, in a way. He says it how he feels, and that's what people like about it. Is it Milwaukee? Step it up. Listen, when this is at a much lower level, when this happened with Tom Segura in that whatever fucking that shit, was it Pennsylvania? Where was that shitty city that he had to go visit? He's like, it's the worst place in the world. Was it Peoria or something? It was,
I don't
maybe it was Illinois. I forget where it was, but he called it out on his podcast and said that. So they invited him to come to the town and see it and see that it's great. And he's like, no, thanks, whatever. Then their weatherman challenged him to a basketball game, and he had a whole thing where he videotaped it, and he battled him, and he said he would retract his statements if he lost to the weatherman. He killed the weatherman, so the weatherman had to say the town still stinks. It's like, they should do that with Trump. They should be like, you think we're terrible? Come have a cheese eating and beer drinking contest with us. And he's like, and if you can out drink and out cheese our biggest fattest slob, then you can say it's horrible. But if not, you got to shut the fuck up. And then he would lose and go, you still losers, who cares? I hate your cheese, fuck you. And it'd still be funny. Is it the other politicians for all scrambling and doing shit? Don't kiss Trump's ass, the Republicans. You don't have to. He doesn't care about you. He's on his mission being Trump. Democrats, you don't need to jump on this or whatever. He literally just got convicted of like 37 fucking felonies, and he's still going strong. You go now pointing out he's so gangster right now that the more you do this, the more he just builds that clout. He's getting street cred like nobody's business. He's now a fucking felon who's gonna talk shit. That's what he do. He's on a shit talking world tour. That city sucks. You suck. That's Milwaukee can be better if you make it great again. How about that? Milwaukee as great again. It's like whatever the dumb thing would be. It's like you could make it great if you vote for me. Biden makes it stink.
Yeah.
Who's a piece of shit?
Milwaukee.
All right.
Here's why. Let's start with the fact that it's never been great. You can't make something that's always been terrible great again. The best thing Milwaukee did was let the Lakers leave. It's a terrible fucking city. It's not the reason. It's not the politicians. They all scramble, right? Like that's their job. So Trump said it was a shithole city. The guy who rails on that I'm going to make Milwaukee safer because it's so dangerous right now goes, he was talking about the crime. The guy who got elected off of voter fraud and saying, I'm going to make our election safer goes, he was talking about voter fraud. And the other two who are Democrats going, no, just keep giving us money so we can elect people who say some things, some people did some things on 9/11. like they're gonna be like, no, nothing's wrong. It's not them. Trump's right. It is a shithole city. Everybody gets so mad that Trump called all those other countries third world and made a comparison to us. I like the fact that he's able to not only be like, you suck, but here's what sucks about us, and we need to make better too. Right? Like, to me, part of that's actually being kind of a good president. Being like, we've got some shit to work on. Could he clean it up? Yeah, but that's not what people want. They don't want Chance the Rapper rapping about Jesus and how much he loves his life. They want to hear him hoping you have the worst day ever because you work at a Fridays that's always busy on. You know what I mean? Like, so Trump's doing his thing. Milwaukee is not a great city. There are fun parts of it, but the entire city is set up so that you don't have to be outside. Let me re-say that again. The entire city is designed so you do not have to be on the streets of Milwaukee because it's that dangerous. We went to George Floyd Square. You know what George Floyd should be thankful for? The fact that he doesn't live in Milwaukee anymore. Being dead is better than being in that fucking square. I like the Mall of America. Rick Bronson's House of Comedy is great. But other than that, nothing fucking good there. It's little Somalia. It's the town of 1,000 lakes. But nobody likes lakes.
No.
That's just a city ocean. They're not even Great Lakes. They're just giant puddles all over. It's always humid. You can't fucking walk anywhere. The city sucks. Trump's right. Fuck everybody there. Let's give it back to whoever we got swindled into the... You remember when Thomas Jefferson bought the Louisiana Purchase from the French?
I remember that
everybody
day. It was a great
like,
day.
it was such a great deal. Well, Kish might too.
Hey-o.
But let's really reanalyze that because we didn't get Texas as part of the deal. We just got a bunch of whiny crybaby liberals. Nothing good. You want to make America great again? Let's sell that other half back to...
Yeah, and all your women look like Robin Yount.
If you could see them.
Yeah.
A lot of them look like the rug store I walk by every day.
Closed. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Shut down for business.
Out of fucking business, baby.
Who's
But
your
if we
piece
do
of
that
shit?
story, I got to follow real quick with the Biden story. I think it's only fair that we are impartial in that way. All right. Do you want... I have two stories. You want Biden fucking looking lost or Biden's dog?
Dog. I love the fact that he's
real quick to get the lost thing. Just we'll tie them both in. Biden was in Italy speaking with a bunch of people, and they had to keep reining him in because he kept wandering away. They were watching parachute people and stuff do stuff, and he couldn't pay attention. He kept like just wandering off. And then when the Italian prime minister brought him in for a hug, he just kept burying his face in her hair. And they're like, "What the fuck?" They had to pull him. Everyone's like, "This guy is not here at all. Like, there's nothing inside." He kept putting on his aviator glasses, staring up in the air when they were already done jumping. Like, it's all this video footage of it, of just him just being lost as shit. But
I don't like anything other than the fact that he kept smelling the Italian prime minister's hair. That makes me actually kind of like him some.
Yeah, he dug his face in it because he's like, pasta sauce. But
Biden
Biden repeatedly watched his dog attack Secret Service as staff wished each other safe shifts when they would have to deal with this.
Yeah.
President Biden repeatedly watched his German Shepherd commander attack Secret Service members who wished each other a safe shift as the number of incidents mounted, with one exasperated workplace safety professional urging the use of a muzzle. The number of dog attacks involving Commander, who the White House said in February was given away after more than 2 years of terrorizing professionals assigned to protect Biden, and former first dog Major, who was rehomed in 2021 after also attacking personnel, could top 3 dozen. It popped away. God damn it! Oh. 3 dozen.
I did not get it, Kevin.
Could top 3 dozen, the newly resurfaced record suggests. What'd you say? Oh,
I swatted a fly and he wanted to know if I got it. I did not.
Oh, okay. The 81-year-old president reportedly accused a Secret Service member of lying about being attacked by Major during the first year in office. He's like, "Oh, sir, your dog keeps biting me." Liar. Why would he lie?
Major said he didn't do it. That's an honest dog.
But, I mean, they're obviously high-ranking officials, Commander and Major. Here comes my other dog, Rear Admiral. but was present for at least 3 separate attacks involving Commander. Files released to Judicial Watch under Freedom of Information Act litigation show. A previously unreported incident on September 12th, dun dun dun, one day after, but 2023, featured a pair of bites in which Commander tore holes in a Secret Service member's suit as Biden took him for a walk in the Kennedy Garden along the South Lawn. The president took Commander on a leash to the Kennedy Garden this evening for a walk. The special agent assigned to the President Protective Division wrote in a report. While Biden and Commander were in the Kennedy Garden, I was standing halfway from the bookseller's lobby in the Family Theater, the agent wrote, referring to the area where the main White House connects to the East Wing. Biden opened the bookseller door and said something, redacted. As I started to walk towards him to see if he needed help, Commander ran through his legs and bit my left arm through the front of my jacket. I pulled my arm away and yelled, "No," the victim wrote. Biden also yelled to Commander. He said, "Stop." And then I obliged, and Commander let me pet him. So he told the guy to stop complaining, and then he had to pet him after he got bit. When turning to close the door, the special agent went on. Commander jumped up again and bit my left arm for a second time. Biden again yelled at Commander and attached the leash to him. My suit coat had 3 holes in it, one being all the way through. No skin was broken. And there's a picture of the suit jacket. It's fucking pretty maimed up. Photos included in the report show damage to the agent's suit and dress shirt for which they sought reimbursement. The latest batch of internal agency records show mounting frustration over the handling of the animals. On September 25th, following yet another attack involving Commander, a sergeant of the Secret Service Uniform Division wrote a colleague, "FYI, there's a dog bite and the officer may need to go to the hospital. Have a safe shift!" Exclamation points. It's unclear if Biden was present for that one. 2 days later, an official in the agency's Safety, Health, and Environmental Division wrote, "Can we please find a way to get this dog a muzzle?" Biden's personal preference during attacks was known in 2 prior instances. October 2nd, Biden was there when Commander attacked an agent who was holding the door for the president as he approached the entryway near the Rose Garden that connects the West Wing to the rest of the White House. "I was bit and grabbed on the left forearm," the agent wrote. By the way, they show a cover of the New York Post from back then, and it said "Commander in Chomp." That was their big title. Commander came the first, circled back and grabbed my left arm. He then stood up and back down. He's literally my height standing. Biden entered shortly after, since he was trailing behind him. Biden entered the pale room and said, "Hey, hey." Like that's a lot of Biden just going, "Ah." Biden was also present December 11th when the president requested to take Commander to the Kennedy Garden. Once at the garden, Biden took Commander off the leash to run free. He jumped up and dove there, describing a 1.5-inch cut that went to this guy and a bruising on his arm and a centimeter cut from his second bite in his hand and his thumb. So who is the documents now place Biden at the scenes of a couple of these ones that put one guy in a hospital, but he's there for a bunch of them. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Biden for allowing these dogs? You got enough stuff going on, man. You don't need dogs are biting people. I know he doesn't know what's going on, but Biden shouldn't be allowed to walk dogs or do it. They should be giving him the most docile dog, not big crazy German shepherds that are older and biting. Biden and the dogs seem to be the same people. They're just old. They're biting people. They're running around. And I'm not saying that either one should be put down, but they really shouldn't be in the White House anymore. Either one of them. It's Secret Service guys. Listen, you're Secret Service guys. You're supposed to know sneaky moves. I'm not saying this. Peter, don't get mad at me. I'm just saying you have ways of stopping people from living. You did it for the Clintons. You can't make these dogs go to sleep. You can't make these dogs disappear. You can't do anything like that to make it stop. You don't have any kind of thing like that. It's crazy. Nobody would know anyway. You're fine. Don't hurt dogs, but the dogs are hurting you. You're Secret Service. That's your job to do things we don't fucking know about. That's the rule. Is it the dogs? Are the dogs the ones being the piece of shit because they're biting everybody and being angry and assholes? Who's the piece of shit?
So I actually, when I was producing for Richie Redding's show, we got into this story pretty deep. And one unknown fact that wasn't reported in here is these dogs weren't just randomly biting everybody. They were randomly biting a specific group of people who looked a certain way, kind of like the Vice President of the United States. The Biden dogs are 100% racist. The first thing that happened when the dog bit somebody is Kamala Harris put out like a memo to that if she was going to be in a room to clear the dogs out at least 30 minutes ahead of time, etc. And when the story initially broke, I remember the Champ is Chomp article because literally that's what it came out. Pretty much everybody the dog had attacked at this point was an African American. The dogs are racist. The Bidens have raised the dog to be 100% racist. That's why they're attacking people. So for me, the piece of shit in the story would probably be the Kennedys. Why did you get a garden? Like, why would you name a garden after the Kennedys? Wouldn't you name, like, I don't know, a garage? Or like a lake?
I'm guessing that a lot of the people that upset the Kennedys or women that wanted to talk are buried somewhere in that garden.
Oh, I like that. Each tree's to one of the dead bodies of the women they covered up along the way.
Yeah.
The Clintons were like, you think that's bad? You should see our national forest.
You want to see Marilyn Monroe's bush?
Yes. Not what I meant, John, you piece of shit. I'm going to shoot you when you go to Houston. And that's how Herbert Walker met John F. Kennedy.
I think the piece of shit in this story is us for not. And I don't really want to make this political. We need to really stand up and change the law about 80-year-old people leading us, because we're now not just letting them do whatever they want. Why is this? It's one thing. Okay, if you can have a group of people around him, and I get that Biden's just really a puppet and he's just literally out there. He doesn't even know what he's saying. They're just feeding words into him at this point, and other people are running it, which is crazy. We don't need that. It's not like he's a fucking guy we all respect or love. I would get it if he was like this incredible father figure type thing where it's like, okay, you just do that because you're the likable face, but we're the writers behind it. But he's not even like likable or anything. He's just like this old white racist guy. And now he's just senile. We're like, oh, but people trusted him. They don't. The people that like him only liked him because he knew Obama. That's all it is. It's always just a tie into Obama. And so if we're going to allow that, we're going to let this guy run on. We can't let him just have everything else old around him too. You know what I mean? Have better dogs. I'm not trying to shit up. Listen, I'm sure they're great dogs.
No.
Get them good homes. They shouldn't be in the fucking White House. They shouldn't be around Secret Service biting people. Put them on a farm so they can run around and do shit. And by the way, put Biden on a farm so he can run around and do shit. Put him out there. Not only put him out to pasture by meaning death, but put him out to pasture for real. We should be taking these guys. Anyone that's over 75 that's still working in the White House should just be brought to a farm and allowed to be there. And you can do a fake Congress thing in the barn every day so they feel good, but then let them run around and sniff apples and fucking do shit. Whatever they do, fucking shovel. They can wear suits, do whatever. Move them out of there. Get the fuck out of it. And I'm not trying to shit. I know people at 75 now can do more than ever, but that is like the average age of death. And it shouldn't be 6 years older and running our country or walking a dog and releasing it and just standing there as it bites people who are supposed to protect you. Hey, moron. If I'm supposed to protect you and your dog bites me, guess who I don't protect anymore?
You. And
because you're not protecting me.
If you put Biden on an apple orchard up in Connecticut and told him he was meeting the Italian prime minister and that people were skydiving, he would have had the exact same experience.
Yeah.
Why
don't they take? We talked about the story with Russell Crowe, talk about the blue screen and everything. Everything should be blue screen from Biden. He should just be there and just having him walk in front of shit and then just go, here he is. He's in Russia. He's like, it's not really Russia, but he's just in the back.
Yeah, no, I love that idea. I also like that it's us. I may have been arguing with somebody who was like, you need to find a way to try to impact and save the country. And it was like, no, you fucked it up beyond repair. Like we traded all of our freedoms for quote protection. And now we have to give a fuck that there's an 81-year-old with dementia in charge of us. Right. We had this guy named Ronald Reagan. He also had dementia. And when Ronald Reagan had dementia, this guy named Herbert Walker Bush started dealing drugs. And by drugs, I mean on a global scale from the cartels. And wow, the presidency was like, don't you dare do drugs. And then what happened? Oh, wait, they took that money and they funded a guy, a freedom fighter, if you will, in the Middle East. You know what that guy's name was, Pat?
What?
Osama bin Laden.
Oh, no, that guy?
And then a couple years later, and now you might be wondering, like, well, how did we get all these drugs in the country? Well, it was through this place called Mena, Arkansas. Now, who was the governor of Arkansas at the time that just kind of allowed this all to happen?
Who?
Bill Clinton.
What?
They
That
don't
guy?
give a fuck about us. And then after 9/11 happened, right? The fucking terrorists.
What? 9/11? What's 9/11?
Oh, you didn't dare forget, did you?
Oh, I plumb forgot. 9/11.
But yeah, then the terrorists that we gave the money to, by the way, used that money that we gave to them to figure out how to fly 2 planes into our towers. And when you got a little stressed out and we're like, boy, I'd like to buy some weed so I could relax. What did the government tell you? Don't you dare buy weed. It'll fund the terrorists.
Oh, no. By the way, if you're going to get married, you should always get married on 9/11 so you never forget your anniversary.
The day 2 towers collapsed.
Yeah. You and me.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like, the day our lives ended.
Kevin has a good point. How much are we spending to have an AI president? Well, look at how much money we owe. It's in the trillions and beyond trillions. And where's it to? All the places that are good at AI. I think that we say it's for this and that we had to borrow. I think they're funding our president. I think it's their CGI, it's their stuff, and they're making that cool Biden bot that stinks. But the problem is AI adapts to the world. And they're like, what does an old person do? This. So now they're doing what, instead of being like a smart, good old guy, AI is being old.
Yeah. You want to know the saddest part? There was a guy.
AI stands for aging idiot, by the way, when it comes to him. There you go.
like
Hey,
that.
oh, pow.
The worst part is there was a guy in Nevada who ran for Senate on the grounds that he would release an app that the people of his town, like that he represented, could vote on every bill. And he would just do whatever the app told him to. And Congress ruled that that would be illegal. They don't care about democracy.
No, not at all. No
Who's-
one does. But
who's-
wait, is Kevin
I
saying
think-
he got married on 9/11, or is Kevin saying that that's a good idea? Because if you got married on 9/11, dude, you rule.
There I was. Times Square,
'Cause-
about to say I do. I looked up and was like, that plane's a little low.
It's like, why are we getting married on a Tuesday? It's like, I should have waited till one of those years where it's a Saturday. This was bad timing on my part. Just like 9/11, bad timing.
Who's high-pitched Shawnee? Is that me? Terry, I need clarification. Normally you're on fire. I just want to make sure I get the joke.
I don't think it's you. I think one of us made a joke that's probably like a high pitch thing. Like one of those guys. Oh, by the way, did high pitch hit you up? Or not high pitch, stuttering whatever?
No.
A speech impediment man. I'm sorry, whatever he's called.
Oh, I don't know. No, yeah.
He hit me up on Instagram a couple of times, like, would love to come back on. He's writing all these comments, and I'm like, you go through your source. Bobby's your guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll let him know. I'll reach out to him. He sent me a couple of memes that I watch and don't always respond right away. So
Yeah, I got people like that too. I don't watch their shit. Anyway,
it's me. It's me. That's
I
you
watch
can say I know who the people are.
No, it's not. I watch your shit. I like you because I think it's for the show. So I'm like, all right, cool. But it's like, I think we covered it in the stories. I don't think we want to bash any more people. Listen, I think our next president shouldn't be Biden nor Trump. It should be somebody that's under the age of 50 or 55, maybe. I don't think you should be allowed to retire and then be president.
I don't think we should have a president.
No, but we're having one. So it's like, if we are, I don't think you should be able to be an AARP and be the president.
I can't fight you there.
You can't fight Biden because he has killer dogs.
Well,
But
unfortunately for Biden, his dogs judge people by the color of their skin, not the content of their character. So I'm going to be okay.
no, but Biden's kind of like he's actually is the next black president because his dogs oh no, I'm getting all shit. Biden's dogs just attack like he's walking in like a thug, like Michael Vick and shit. He's just like walking. He's like, yeah, my dog's got you. It's like you can't be president of the United States. And by the way, why isn't he taking these dogs to other countries? That would be you want to scare people. Be the warlord that's bringing his dogs.
That was a great, what was that guy's name, joke about how he hated that Obama had those tiny little dogs.
Yeah.
He wanted Obama to have a pit bull and walk it one on chain link and take a gangster knee every morning on the White House lawn, and just that would be intimidating. The
Yeah,
issue I have with
Daniel Tosh talked about that. He goes, he wants Obama's dogs to be like pit bulls and shit.
maybe that's what it would take, a gangster knee. That I just remember that. But the issue I have with Biden having big dogs is it's like when I go running, I see all these old ladies who have these pit bulls for protection in my neighborhood, but they can't control those dogs if the dog decides it wants to attack. Like, they're not big enough. And I know the dogs are friendly, and I know most of them, like, I pet them. They're good fellas. But if the dog one day decided to go, that 85-year-old woman's not holding him back. You know what I mean? And that's what scares me about Obama. Now, if you're the Secret Service, just put it down. Tell Biden he was watching Old Yeller.
I like the visual of old ladies walking Hispanic rappers and just like, oh, look at a good dog. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uno,
Mr.
dos,
Worldwide.
I got all these pit bulls I'm walking.
Mr. Worldwide, Mr. International. You're like, oh God, those two are gonna have a problem with each other.
So, all right. So, thank you so much for everyone that watched today. We went a little longer. We appreciate you. Everybody was super fun to chat. I think we're going with a tie today. I think we're gonna have double Uzis because Kish really fucking set. Kevin's always on fire with stuff, and Kevin, I'm not gonna take away your award, but Kish really went hard. So for going into the weekend, double Uzis for the two of them for multiple things, but everybody was great. Clownface was great today. Terry Nee's always legendary. There's ZZ was doing great stuff today. We had a lot of fun people in there. If I'm forgetting anybody, you were all amazing and wonderful and fun. Chris Abels popped in, banging some stuff out. He was great. Really appreciate everybody doing this stuff. But I want to thank you guys so much for paying attention today. Saturday, if you're a big fan of WATP, who are these podcasts, Carl's actually blowing up my phone right now telling about the stuff we're talking about. I guess if you've been paying attention to any of that steel toe stuff, I guess we're going to be shitting on a whole bunch of that. So that'll be fun to make fun of all the steel toe fun things that have been going on with that guy's life train wreck and other things too. I'll be on there Saturday at 2 o'clock, and then you'll see all the clips of it if you don't watch it on their Patreon, whatever. But we'll enjoy that. You're always great, fucking V. Don't do the sad chat shit. You're fucking great.
You were killing it, buddy.
You're fucking doing wonderful. You're always fun. And you make the fun discussions. It's a good time. And also, please like and subscribe to the podcast. Like we always ask all the time. Share it. Please share it. Let people know. Please watch it. Over the weekend, be like, hey, you're looking for something to watch? Watch the show that I watch in the mornings. We have our playlist up there. You can check out anything, but just even the latest episode. Put it up there and check it out. If you are not in the Patreon yet, you're missing out on Thursday Thoughts. It's a fun show where we do a deep dive on one of the stories here. So it's a really good time. The last one we just did yesterday is fucking hilarious. It's a fun. We go down the whole LGBTQIA plus, whatever the fuck it is. We add our own letters. Go check that out for $3 a month. It really supports us. Comedy shows coming up. The big ones are the 2-1 coming. The end of this month, 28th and 29th in Connecticut, in Wethersfield. I'm headlining. Bobby's opening up. We got another comic on the show as well. A funny guy, Mike Massaro. 3 of us there. One show Friday, one show Saturday. It's 28th, 29th, like I said. Go to comedycraftbeer.com for your tickets in Wethersfield. If you can make that, great. If you can't, you want to see us, this is the one that I really need you to go to. We got to pack this place up. I'll be recording my next album. I'm really happy with the way the material's going. We want you guys there. August 8th through 10th. One show Thursday at 8 o'clock. One show Friday at 8 o'clock. And then on Saturday, 6 o'clock and an 8 o'clock show. And then we'll be there the whole weekend at the hotel anyway, so at the casino. So hang out with us, do all that. Come on out, laugh, be part of the album. Video, audio, all that. If we get some of the podcast guys to show up, we'll be doing extra foot. Maybe we'll take a couple, videos and fun things talking to you guys and have you talk about watching the show and the comedy, all that, and put that like in an extra or something in the video or some shit like that. Even if we just get to hang with you, it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to do a podcast at least on Friday. We're not sure from where, but if you guys are around, we'll probably do it in a room somewhere. But like, if you guys want to come, you can be part of it and do like a live in the room studio audience, fucking dumb shit. You guys who watch the show.
We may even, who knows? We may even do it from somewhere big, like the roof. And then I'll jump off of it down the show. And you're going to want to see me jump off the roof. But in addition to
and if you're a comedian, come to that, because if Bobby does that on Friday, I'm going to need an opener for Friday night and 2 shows Saturday.
Well, I'll do at least Friday. But more importantly,
the podcast is Friday morning, so I don't know how you're going to pull it off.
We'll figure it out. On that note, I do have a show tonight at the Soho Playhouse. A few tickets are still available. Kish, if you have any interest, I know it's not a far commute for you. Hit me up. I'll get you tickets. But that goes for anybody in the chat. Just hit me up on either Twitter or Instagram. Be like, I watched.
Oh,
the
and
show,
I
get me a
forgot
ticket.
Saturday I'm headlining the show in Southbury, Connecticut. If anyone's in that area there, it's kind of closer to like the New York line, but like going towards it's not too far away from like Hudson Valley and all that shit. So if you're in that area or you're Connecticut, I'm headlining the show. Avery Quinn's on that show and a couple other people. Hit me up. I'll tell you where to go for tickets. I think it's $30, but it's a fucking fun show. It's for a Lions Club. They got cool guys putting it on, and I'm gonna be really testing the material in front of old dying things. So it'll be a good time to come see that.
That'll be a fun one. And tonight, like I said, it's at the Soho Playhouse, 9 p.m. You can get your tickets on their website. It's me and Joseph Ferraro. And thanks for tuning in, guys. If you can't join them, beat them, and don't be a piece of shit.
Happy weekend, everybody.